Hi guys, welcome to the stream on a Friday night. Sorry, I was just looking over there. I bought another TV because normally the quality is not very good, and I don't think my internet's very good this evening. So I was just watching on here, but it looks okay at the moment. So yeah, sorry, a little bit put off by that. But hi to everyone. Let's see who's in the stream. 86 right in at the beginning. That's real good. Crypto Chris, how you doing? Dave Andrew, hi Peter. Hope you're fine. I was in Thailand in December. Enjoyed what was hoping to get back in February, March, but the 5-day test is putting me off. We'll talk about that a little bit later because a lot of people are talking about it. Right, let's explore Bangkok. He's watching the football. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go at the moment because the football's on at the moment. So I think it's Manchester United versus Middlesbrough. I'm not a football guy myself, but I do know there's a match on. Right, Dave Andrew. Let's explore Bangkok. Have you seen or read this yet from Scan Asia, is it? Warning against traveling to Thailand. Well, I know apparently Thailand's like the most difficult country in the world to go into now, isn't it? That's what people are saying. That's what I've been reading. Let's explore Bangkok again. I can understand why insurance companies are not paying. I understand your cover cost between 5,000 and 100,000 baht isn't a logical idea. Well, I do know something about that. Let me just put that super chat up there. First one of the night, and then I'll tell you. Wes, how are you, mate? Actually, before we talk about that, I wanted to speak about something motorbikes that somebody mentioned in their stream. Let me just put a note of it so I don't forget, because I know you're a big bike person, Wes, right? You like riding around Phuket on a big bike. Yeah, let's just go back to these the insurance company thing. Now, I was speaking to somebody. Some of the insurance companies in Thailand they've actually gone under. They've gone broke because they didn't expect so many people to claim on the insurance. And a lot of the insurance companies, they wanted to opt out of giving you insurance to cover you for the COVID. They didn't want to do it anymore. But the government said, no, if you're an insurance company, you have to provide it. And because there's been so many claims against it, some companies have gone under and some companies don't pay out. And it's getting quite messy now. So the insurance side of things, it's you've got to get it still. But whether it's going to help you, I know people have had their medical bills covered on insurance. It's a difficult one. Who else we got in here tonight? Carl Wirrod, how are you? Hey all, and Peter. Wirrod means world in my language. Okay. Henrik Jensen, is it? I wonder how Peter's own love story will unfold now that he has decided to spend a lot more time in Thailand. I don't think I'll have a love story, not at my age, to be honest with you. One thing I'll clear up, I like to keep the things I'm going to talk about, the serious things, till a little bit later, till we get more people in. We've got 172 in. We had 600 in last week, so I'll hold back a little bit on the serious stuff. A lot of people have asked me about my wife. They said, well, hang on, because if you were here last week, you'll know I did tell you. I said, right, because of my last trip to Thailand, I've said that's it now. I've made up my mind. England's crap. I don't want to stay here anymore. Kids have grown up. I'm gonna head over this summer. I'm gonna head over to Thailand for good. I'm gonna go out there. I've got some plans with Simon, which I'll tell you about. People keep saying to me, but what about your wife? Have you asked her? Is she happy about it? So I'll tell you about that. It's not that we're falling out or we're getting divorced or anything like that. But I'll let you into that when we get a few more people, nearly 200 in now. But let me say hi to a few more people, then we'll get into the serious stuff. And I will come back about that motorbike subject that somebody else was speaking about, Wes, because I found it quite interesting. Okay, lots of comments from Let's Explore Bangkok. I'm guessing you've got your own channel, so maybe some people will go over and see you. Wow, lots and lots of comments from you. Right, Shinrana, how you doing? Haven't heard from you this week, Shan. Lots of messages when I was in Bangkok. You've got a bit quiet at the moment. We must catch up on the phone one day, because I do speak to some viewers. I don't like to use the word viewers. It makes me sound like the BBC, but some people who look at my channel, I have made friends with some, and I do speak with some of them on the phone. Shane or Traveller, hi, how are you? Good to see you in again, mate. You're in every week. Joel Bowser, good to see you again. Leeds, good evening, Peter. No name, hi, how are you? Javier Lopez, another loyal viewer, as you can say. Good evening, Peter. Hope you are well, mate. Your video about the River Kwai was great. Yeah, I got quite a lot of good feedback about that bridge on the River Kwai video, but it was a little bit like the one I did about the Second World War airfield. It didn't quite get the traction that I was hoping for. I think it's got about 10,000 viewings now. It's about 2 weeks old, but like the one I did about Pattaya when I first arrived, is it worth coming to Pattaya? That's had nearly 40,000 views, but you know, I mean, sex sells, doesn't it? Right. Paul Hoskin, how are you doing? you'll be putting a smile on a few people's faces tonight, I guess, Paul. Is it sound as a pound? No, it isn't. A merry-go-round? No, isn't Thailand bound? I haven't even had a drink yet, Paul. I'm not even going to try and get into that. Archie, happy you're back in the UK, Peter? Not really. No, do you know what? It's so cold tonight. It's so cold. If somebody from around the world watches this tomorrow, because they always say, you know, you Brits like to talk about the weather, and we do, don't we? Let's face it. It's so cold tonight. Stars are in the sky, so there's no cloud cover. The beers that I always put in the freezer that I'm scared they'll freeze over, I've left them outside on the step today because they're not going to freeze over. Is that Nick Franco in? I didn't see his picture because I want to say something about Nick, if that is him. Nick Franco, if you're in the stream, let me know because I want to do a quick mention for you because of what happened last week. Jamie L. Hi, Peter. I'm 23 years old, long subscriber here. Jamie, fantastic, mate. I mean, you got to be my youngest subscriber because this is like most of us are old farts. We're dinosaurs. You know, we've been around for ever and a day. A lot of experience between us all, but I don't generally have a young crowd. There are a few younger YouTubers out there. When I say younger, I'm talking 38, 40, nowhere near as young as you. But do you know what? It's not all bad news, not blow my own trumpet, Jamie, but you'll learn a lot on this channel because, you know, experience and other people put in their comments and you'll learn from them as well. So welcome and it's good to see you, mate. Glad you're here. Right, Andy on tour, Broken Dreams. Hi, Mucker. Yeah. Let's explore Bangkok. Blimey, you're going to win the award for the most comments tonight so far. John L. Hi, Peter. Tilt, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Fitzy, nice to see you in again. Joe Bowser. Peter, I was the first time here. I beat everyone. All right, Joe. Dutch Falang. Yeah, you're in a lot of streams, Dutch Falang. Happy to see you here, but I don't watch lots of streams all the way through, but I do kind of jump in and out of a few streams just to see what people are talking about. And I've noticed you're in a lot of streams, but that's good. Wandering So High, Gary Hughes, Martin Ryder, Evening Shaggers. I mean, let's get straight to the point, Martin. Evening Shaggers. If you're not from the UK, Shaggers, use your imagination. Okay, it's YouTube. Use your imagination. Damon, how you doing? Right, there's Damon there. Tasty looking Damon. Somebody seen this photograph once and said, I wouldn't like to meet that guy in a dark alley. He looks a bit tasty. He used to be a doorman, actually, Damon, in the old days, but he's very friendly. Right, what are you saying now, Wes? Morning, Peter. Here's $5 for wagging class for last week. All right, yeah. Thanks for that, Wes. Charles Sanders, hi. Good afternoon, evening to all. I never know where people are coming in, from around the world. You know, what sort of time it is where you are. I know there's a lot of English guys in here. I'm just checking. We've got 273 in now. Let me just renew this. I bought a new TV and it's really good. I can see what you guys are looking at. 278 now. Hopefully we'll get a few more in later. But it's a football. Once that football ends, hopefully we'll have a surge in. Dirty Harry. Funny enough, I watched. That's what you're calling yourself, Dirty Harry. Hi Pete. Hope you're well. I am well, and I watched the Dirty Harry last night. Which one was it? It was. Well, it's Coogan's Bluff. He wasn't Dirty Harry in that one, but it's Clint Eastwood. I like all Clint Eastwood. Such a cool guy in the films in the 60s and 70s. 1968, Coogan's Bluff. Really good movie. GBC. Peter, what is the song in the intro called? Do you know? I'm not just saying this because I don't want anyone to pitch it. It's a popular Thai song. It's not particularly old. I don't know what the end one is. You know, at the end, I put this real nice bit of music on. It almost makes you sort of want to cry and go back to Thailand. But the one at the beginning, it's just a pop song, and it's written in Thai. I honestly don't know what it is, but is it on one of my other videos in its entirety? I mean, I can send it to you if you send me an email. I've got to dig it out, though, because I've had it there for a long, long time. Okay, who else we've got? Gary Johnson, good afternoon. Well, we said hi to you already. Tim Hogg, it sure is good seeing you feeling perky again. I'm trying to feel perky, but it's hard in the UK, isn't it? You know, last year I said that. Last week I said I've made the decision to head back to Thailand. I've got to just put that on pause because good old who's that? I think that's Rab, is it? He's giving me a nice super chat there. Yeah, Rob. Thank you very much, Rob. Have a 1664 or 2 on me. And laugh out loud. Not that I'm counting, but 54 days until I fly to Pattaya. Hopefully it'll be okay by then. 54 days, nearly 2 months, Rob. Yeah, thanks for the super chat, and I'm sure you'll be fine in nearly 2 months. Okay, let's get back to what was I talking about now? That's the problem when a super chat comes in. I forget what I'm talking about. Hopefully it'll come back to me in a minute. Martin Ryder, Jimmy, yes, Mr. Egg at La Pub said Thailand is 2 weeks behind Europe opening up. Okay. Vigard, I enjoyed the River Kwai video. A fun fact is that it's not actually the Kwai River, Khwae Noi. The bridge everyone knows to is the River Mekong. Yeah, if you, I think eventually Bangkok Pat will do a video on the River Kwai. You know what his videos are like. He'll tell you how many people are in the Japanese camp, how many people are in the Australian camp, how many sleepers were laid on the line. I'm not taking the mickey. He makes very good videos, Pat, and he's very detailed. I did a kind of walkabout. Here's a bridge on the River Kwai, and there's the jungle. Very kind of just a casual visual video. But Pat did say he was going to do one. He'll probably spend a week down there, and you'll get every detail absolutely correct. Right, Fitzy, day 6 test sounds terrifying. I think it's day 5. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I won't go on about this because you all know about it, but when I went to Thailand, people said, "Oh, you're mad going to Thailand, jumping through hoops." But it wasn't too bad, other than I caught COVID and I got food poisoning, but I still had a good time. But now they've brought out this rule. I don't think they can hang on to it very long. It's what it is. Everybody's talking about it. So you get there on day 1, you have your test before you get on the plane. You're negative. You get picked up at the airport. 1 day in the hotel, you're negative. They let you go. Now, in my case, 5 days after I was there, I had this plastic allergen test. Nobody told me where to send it, where to post it, what to do with it. I did it just to see if I had it. I was negative, and that was it, the end of it. If I'd been positive, nobody would have known because nobody asked me to send it anywhere, take a photograph of it, nothing like that. But now they're saying you have to book a Shah hotel on day 5. Who's going to do that? I mean, I wouldn't do it, would you? So basically what you got to do, you got to do your Thailand pass, book your Shah hotel on day 1, book your Shah hotel on day 5. And you know the worst thing about it is the hotel is responsible for, I can't remember which department it is, but they've got to register you within 30 hours. And if they don't register you, then you're not going. Basically, everything's cancelled. So you just imagine you're in a position, you go on, you do the Thailand pass, there's loads and loads of documents you got to upload, a lot. I mean, a lot, it's so cumbersome, such a cumbersome system. And then, so you get that done, you get your Thailand pass, you book your 2-star hotels. Now, these hotels, they don't have any system where it pings up. Mr. Smith has just booked in your hotel. They have to constantly go in there and look. So you can have all that, get your hotel paid for the 2 nights, get your Thailand pass, buy your ticket, the whole package, as it were. And the hotel, you're in a little budget hotel, and they don't bother checking the system. 30 hours goes by. That's it. Game over. You are out of there. You're not going anywhere. So, I mean, who's going to risk it? I mean, if you're staying maybe in the Hyatt Regency or the Sheraton or a hotel that's efficient, an Intercontinental, then yeah. But if you stay in these little budget hotels around Nana and Asok, and no one's going to do it, are they? They said that their numbers are climbing, the bookings. I think they said 23,000. But I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't do it. It's too. I've done it once on the risk that I'd be negative. There's no way I'd book a day 5-star hotel. No way on this earth. But I don't think, personally, it's just an opinion, but I don't think they'll keep that in very long, because what will happen, people will stop going. People like us, they'll get the Thais going in, the guys who've got families and stuff like that, but they'll just see it's not going to work. And, everybody gets pissed off, don't they? And they won't bother going. I definitely shan't go while that's all on. All right. Paul Hoskin, what are you saying now? Peter, jam donut or ring donut? All the same to me, Paul. Right, what's Wes saying? Sunday week you're off to Phuket, aren't you, Wes, with a wife? Yeah. Sunday week we arrive in Phuket under the test and go scheme. Watched the Tiger yesterday. More tourists testing positive on arrival. Hopefully we don't. I don't think you've got to worry about testing positive when you arrive there, Wes. I think what it is, it's when you're there, because I was clear when I got there, and I caught it when I was there. And I tell you how scary this is. I mentioned this last week. When I tested positive, I did the responsible thing, and I locked myself in a hotel room for 7 days. Some people said I did a runner and I should have done this and I should have done that, but I didn't. I was very responsible. I didn't have contact with anybody. I didn't go out, and I tried my best. But I met this guy in the airport. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I met this guy in the airport, in Bangkok airport, coming back, and he said to me, I told him about getting positive and everything, and he said to me, he said, yeah, I've just come back from Pattaya. He said, I tested positive. I went to Bangkok Hospital in Pattaya. And I said to him, so what did you do? Did you self-isolate? Did they make you go to hospital? And he said to me, no, I just went out to the bars. So, I mean, some people are doing that because it's so rife out there now. I'm not just talking about only Pattaya. I mean, all over. On average, they had about 7,000 previously, the last sort of few weeks, months, whatever, they had an average of about 7,000 new infections a day and 10 deaths. And that suddenly jumped up to from 6 to 9,000 with 20 plus deaths. So I don't know. It's really a difficult one. Paradise Live, 35 age. All right. Okay. What you're saying, Dutch Frank? Yes, I love Thailand live streams, but you was the first one I followed. Okay, thanks for that. I was talking with somebody on the phone today, and we were talking about live streams, YouTubers, and I think it's true what Ed Sweeney said in his. He said he did a live. He's in Pattaya now. He's getting a lot of new subscribers because he's in Thailand filming. But I do absolutely agree with what he said about he doesn't really want to be a Pattaya vlogger, because there's just so many people in Pattaya doing it. There's some good ones, there's some average ones, and there's some people who aren't getting anywhere. But, you know, like he said, how many people are you going to watch just walking around with a camera around all these streets and sois in Pattaya? I made a few videos in Pattaya, but they weren't really about Pattaya. I did the diet video. I did some chatting while I was walking along the beach and jumped in, but I didn't actually go and film sois, because there's just nothing. It's just so saturated, overdone down there. But where your name come up, somebody actually said, oh, we were talking about, you know, each YouTuber seems to have his regular followers every week, and you don't get many kind of crossover really that much, I've noticed. But somebody said they've noticed that you're in a lot of streams. So yeah, if you enjoy the streams, that's fair enough. Okay, Chris Kringle, where have I heard that name before? I need a vacation. Chris Kringle. That's someone out of a movie, isn't it? Chris Kringle. Remind me who it is. I know. I just can't remember. Right, Seamus Doherty. Haha, you wouldn't like to see me in a dark alley either, Peter. Really? Okay, I'll take your word for it. Joe Bowser, okay, thanks, Joe. Hit the like button. Greg Fox, how you doing? Martin Ryder. Steady Eddie is living the soy honey dream. I lived it, didn't I? But the thing is, it's you know, in these conditions, it can get, you can actually feel like you've been there too long under these conditions. I was actually glad to get back. Black Bolt, how you doing? Good to see you in the stream again. Phil Bandel, hi from Auckland, New Zealand. Russ Thomas, is it? Good evening from a sunny Melbourne, Australia. Don't tell us that. We're freezing our nuts off here tonight. It's really cold, really cold. Right, from Sweden here and going to Cambodia next week. Looking forward to so much. Yeah, the restrictions on places like the Philippines and Cambodia, they're not so strong at the moment as they are in Thailand, are they? Okay. Okay, Stuart, hi from Lincolnshire. Dave Andrew, Paul is from Manchester or Liverpool. Let's explore Bangkok 2023. I'm waiting to go back. Yeah, Tim Hogger, I noticed you went from 20K to 30K very quickly. I understand why. Your channel is excellent. Okay, Tim, thanks very much. You tend to get a lot more kind of subscribers when you're actually making videos where you should be. Like when I went out to Thailand, I think I was out there 5 weeks, but I was banged up in a hotel room for a week. So I had 4 weeks of active being out and about. And I think I put out something like 15 videos. And I did, you know, my subscriber count really jumped up a lot. It's slowed down a lot now. And I can understand why. You know, I'm back in the UK. Other people are out there. So obviously, you know, Nick Franco, right. Krungtep Maka. Yeah. Blimey. Okay. I was thinking of the, I'm not sure if that's you, Nick. Kebab Nick, because you normally got a picture there. I don't want to say what I was going to say if I'm not sure. Let me know if that is you. Right, Darcy, I'm glad you're in. I was going to tell you something. So do you remember last week we had a guy in he calls himself I Am Joy, and there's a pretty woman with a white top on. And last week he left derogatory comments. The week before that he left derogatory comments. And you came on, I said something about his comments, and you said, oh, I think that guy's a troll. You said it, right? Not me. And then I said, yeah, I think you're right. The guy actually wrote to me. That's not his name. His name's William, I think it was. He actually wrote to me and he said, oh, I begrudge being called a troll. I think you owe me an apology. And I wrote back to him and I said, are you for real, mate? I said, you've been on this channel 3 weeks in a row and leaving derogatory comments, and somebody else called you a troll. I just backed up what they were saying. He wanted an apology. So then he wrote me this lengthy email, like really having a go at me. And I started writing back. I thought, no, you know what? He's won then, hasn't he? Because he's trolling me by email. I just blocked him and you know, that was it. Right. Nick Frankel, Dutch didn't they delete that on Trev's channel? I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't know if there's many people who know. I don't know if this is the same Nick Frankel, but there's a Nick Frankel sometimes I meet up with on a Sunday with another guy, and he comes on the channel. He lives quite close to me, actually. He's about my age, and he had a heart attack a couple of days ago, 2-3 days ago. He drives a lorry. He was driving his lorry. It kind of scares me, you know, but he was driving his lorry and he got chest pains. He sat on the curb and he was like, you know, and they called him an ambulance. He had a mild heart attack, but they put, is it stents? What do they call them? Stents or stents or something? They put them in his heart and he's okay now and he's out of hospital. But that's the only thing that scares me about retiring or going to live full time in Thailand, because, you know, it's like in UK, if you get chest pains and you're out, somebody will call an ambulance. You'll be in the operating theatre within 20 minutes. Can you imagine being, you know, in the MBK Centre or Terminal 21 on the top floor, and you get chest pains, you know, and they stand around for an hour looking, wondering what's up with you. But you know, probably a death sentence, you know. I mean, I don't want to be Mr. Doom and Gloom, but that does worry me a little bit. But that's why I gave up smoking. That's why I walked 3 to 5 miles every single day, and that's why I lost 20 plus kilos. So you know, when I get to Thailand, I'm going to join a gym for sure, just to go on a treadmill every day, because it's so important. You know, if you're my sort of age, I'm 62 in April, and I think it's really important, not because you want to look like a handsome man, but you know, if you haven't got the weight, you go on a treadmill every day and you know, you get the heart pumping a little bit, other than that way, you know, regular, then you don't, you know, fill yourself with sugar and fatty food, then hopefully you stand a better chance. I'm really making the effort now. My biggest problem is drinking. I've got to cut down drinking because I drink probably a little bit too much. Mike Hunt, that photograph again from last week. I went to the River Kwai tour 20 years ago, but enjoyed your review. Yeah, somebody wrote to me who lives down there, and they go into the jungle with metal detectors, and they find bits and bobs. There's actually a Japanese camp around there somewhere, but what they find, they give to the Australian Museum. You know, the museum, there's a few museums down there, but the really well-run one is run by the Australian government, and that's about 80 kilometers away from the bridge. That's at a place called Hellfire Pass, where these guys went through the mountain with pickaxes and dynamite. Real brutal stuff. You know, it's towards the end of my video. But there's a really good museum there. Unfortunately, because of what's going on at the moment, pandemic, it was when Simon and I went there, it was closed. Okay, let me just tell you about a little story. So did anybody hear about that murdered Brit, the English guy who got murdered? It was in the same province. I can't pronounce it. It was in the same province as the bridge. Let me try and pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. You know what I mean. So where the bridge is, Kanchup, but I can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce that province. I don't know why. Right, but there were 2 English guys, and the story came out. One of them got killed, and the story came out like they were the victims. So the story kind of reported. So there was these 2 English guys, and they got attacked by a Thai guy with one of these things for cutting the rice. What's it called? A sickle? You know, the blade that's round like that. And they, you know, he hit him with that, and he hit him a few times actually. And he killed him. And the way the story came out was, you know, these 2 English guys was there. They got attacked by some Thais, and one of them got killed. And that's how the story was played out. But actually, that's not what happened. And you know, I always say, you know, with the Thais, there's no grey area. It's either black or it's white. They're very, very patient. They'll let a lot of stuff go. You make mistakes, they'll let it go, let it go, let it go. But when they snap, there's no middle ground. That's it. You know, death wish 15. And apparently what happened with these 2 guys, so there's these 2 English guys in this province at 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting outside their bungalow that's surrounded by Thai accommodations, houses, flats, whatever. And they're sitting out there at 4 in the morning drinking with loud music blasting out, really loud. So some Thai people came out and they're like, they said in Thai, probably, I'm guessing now, something like, look, we got to get up for work. Can you turn your music down? And these guys were having a drink. And they're like, no, get stuff. And they just wound them up. In the end, these Thai guys snapped. The guy attacked him with a cigarette. He probably didn't mean to kill him, but if he'd have just turned the music down and been a little bit considerate, it wouldn't have happened. I'm sure it wouldn't have happened. So there's always 2 sides to one story. If you just joined us, guys, welcome in. That's we're just under 400 now. JB from Bournemouth, how are you doing? I'm going to look at this one for a little while now, my new TV. Let's see who else has joined us tonight. Yeah, Darcy, you're saying day 5 is putting you off as well. I don't blame you, mate. I mean, who wants to book a Shah hotel for day 5 and, you know, you're sitting there crapping yourself if you're going to be positive? Right, Red Hammer. I got down to 50 days to Thailand now. The reset, I'm back in 259. I'm not going to Disneyland if the rides are closed. Yeah, it is a bit like that, but you know, a lot of people said to me, it's really hard when you watch YouTube videos, because a lot of it, when you're making a YouTube video, you don't want to go on there and sound really doom and gloom. You want people to enjoy the video, so you can't tend to put a positive spin on everything. And it's not that. You will have a good time. I mean, I had a really good time when I was in Thailand, but I think 80% of my good time was not what I used to do there. I think it was just the fact that I was in Thailand. You know, you come out in the morning, you've got the sun on your back. You know, you can go and eat pad thai for 80 baht in a nice restaurant. You know, there's plenty of nice company around to talk to. You can go have drinks, and you know, it's just a nice atmosphere, isn't it? You know, and I think for me, the enjoyment was really just staying in a nice hotel, having a nice swimming pool, being able to go out and have a meal anywhere, you know, jumping on the back of motorbikes for £1 and going round to Soi 4, dropping my laundry off. And it's that whole environment, that atmosphere. It's just so totally alien to us here in the UK. So when you haven't experienced it for 2 years and you've experienced it a lot in the past, it's so pleasurable. And I think that's what did it for me. So I think if you are going to go back, you definitely will have a good time. Right. So let me just talk a little bit now before I say hi to anyone else. Let me just talk about my wife a little bit, because a lot of people come on here and they say, because you know, I've said now, I've made up my mind now. A lot of people used to say, what are you going to do? Are you going to retire in Thailand, or are you going to have a boat hole here? And I always said, well, I'll get an apartment here. I'll downsize. I'll keep a place here, but I'll spend half the time in Thailand, half the time here. But I've decided not to do that now, because that last trip I was out there just now, 2 weeks, I can't believe it's 2 weeks already, but I came back 2 weeks ago, and I've just made my mind up. You know, like I said to you last week, there's nothing here that kind of motivates me to get out of bed every morning, if that makes sense, talking about keeping a positive spin on things. But it's just, you know, like I said, you come out your hotel there. I know it's different living there to being on holiday. When you go on holiday, you're a 2-week millionaire, you've got loads of money, you're splashing the cash. When you live there, you're on a budget, you got to go and get your visas. And, you know, it is different, but I've done both, so I know what to expect. It's not like I've been out there on holiday, had a fantastic time. I thought, I'm going out there to live there, and then the bubble's going to burst, which somebody said to me last week. I know what it's like living out there. I lived out there for a number of years, so I know what to expect. But I've just decided now. So the big question that keeps coming up is, what about your wife? So if you're a regular to this channel, you'll know that my wife is from South Korea. We've been married for 31 years, happily. People say, oh, he never mentioned he's happy. It has been a happy marriage. But we came back in the year 2000, because I had 2 young daughters back then. One was 3 and one was 5 or 6. There's 3 years different. So, you know, if you stay in Thailand and put them through the schools, it's just so costly. You know, you've got to pay for each child for the term isn't cheap, and you pay all the books, the uniform, and all the little after school club. I mean, everything's money out there. You know, then you've got to pay for all your medical expenses, and you've got to be earning a lot of money to live well out there if you've got a family. It's different if you're on your own. And me and my wife made the decision in 1999, or no, it was 2000. We're going to come back to the UK. We came back, we bought a house, we raised our 2 girls. I went through the infants, the juniors, seniors. My youngest daughter's now at Birmingham University. My eldest daughter's left home. She's got her own business, and we've done a bit now, haven't we? I mean, we've done what we were put on the planet for. We've reproduced. I've, a couple of kids, and they're grown up now. So what about my wife? So people say, well, you know, have you made the decision without her? Or are you splitting up? So what it is, this might be a little bit difficult for you to get your head around, because it is. I'm not having you on. This is the truth. But some people might not accept it, or they might not understand it. But when you've been together for 31 years, you become really good friends. You know everything about each other. Now, she's not from this country, obviously. She's not from the UK. She used to go back on holiday. She hasn't been back for a long time. She's got family back there. She had some family here at Christmas, obviously, a small number. But we've just made the decision now that we're still good friends. We don't want to separate. We don't want a divorce. There's no bad feeling between us, but we need our own space for a while. And, you know, we've made the decision. She wants to go back to Korea and spend some time with her family. She wants to get back into her own culture and do her own thing. She's from a place called Busan. It used to be called Busan on the south coast. And she's just decided, we had a chat a long time ago, before I mentioned this on the stream, and she wants to go back to Korea, not for a few weeks, for some time. My daughters are okay now. They're doing their own thing. And, you know, I want to go back to Thailand. There's nothing here for me. So we've made a decision that for a while, you know, we'll sell up here. We'll put some money away, so we've got assets, and we're quite comfortable. I don't want to go into my personal details too much, but I'm going to head out to Thailand in the summer. I've got a contract with the local council government. I do a bit of driving for them. I'm self-employed, but I am under contract, so I don't want to let them down because they've been good to me over the years. I could walk out tomorrow. I'm self-employed, but this contract ends in early July, so I've said I'll keep going until then. I've already started the wheels in motion to move out to Thailand now. I've already got my health insurance. I'm going out with a company called Pacific Cross. Full medical insurance, everything is about £1,200 a year, £100 a month. That covers everything, cancer, colon cancer, kidney disease, hospitalization, being hospitalized. You've got to be careful when you take out insurance policies, because you can get up to 5,000 a room, up to 5,000 cover a day in a hospital. Most people don't know that most hotels in Bangkok, they're charging 6,000 baht plus a day for the hotel room, plus examinations and nurse care and all this sort of thing. So the policy I'm going for is it's about 8,000 to 10,000 a day hospital. The only thing I'm not going for is outpatients, because that brings the policy down by 20%. It started off at about 80,000 baht. It's an English-speaking guy out there called Jamie I was been speaking to. It starts off at 80,000 baht, but if you don't have outpatients, that brings it down 20%. I'm going to say outpatients. So you imagine I go to a restaurant, eat some dodgy food, I get a little bit of food poison, I go and see a doctor, he gives me some antibiotics. That exactly happened to me when I was in Hua Hin. The bill was 1,800 baht, 35 quid, right? So, I'll pay that myself. If I need to go and get some medicine from the pharmacy, it costs me £20. Well, that's better than, I'm not going to be ill all the time, am I? The only thing I'm worried about is, if I get knocked off a motorcycle and I've got 3 broken ribs and a broken leg, and I have to be put in hospital for 2 months, in traction. So again, other policies, they give you a limit of 45 days, whereas the cover I'm going for, that it's unlimited, So I think at my age, I'm only concerned about major accidents, major, there's even rescue, you get airlifted out of the country. It's all covered. And the good thing about this company, Pacific Cross, they're based in, they're worldwide, but they've got an office in Thailand, English-speaking people who run it, who operate, and they've got links to all the local hospitals. You get a card, and the thing is, when you you get knocked off your motorcycle, pick you up an ambulance, you go into hospital, you give them the card, and they deal directly with insurance. You get first-rate treatment, and they're not like, you don't have to pay up front. You don't have to call your company and will you cover this? Will you cover? They just deal directly with this company. I kind of gone off track a little bit there, but I just wanted to let you guys know that if you are looking for insurance companies, there's a few decent companies out there. AXA is another one, a good company, but they're a bit more expensive. The other good thing about Blue Cross, and I'm not getting any kickbacks or discounts or anything like that. I just researched it to see which was the best one. Another good thing about this company is they don't cut you off at a certain age. A lot of the other companies, I'm 62, I might be out there for another 10 years. I've got to look into that a little bit more, because they haven't kind of said, right, well, we'll keep you to your 75, but they did say they don't end your policy when you get to 65, and it does come down every year by 10% if you have no claims. You're a bit like driving. So look, there's I didn't really want to get into the full healthcare thing, but that's just to let you know if you're thinking about going out there. But back to what I was saying just now with the wife. Yeah, so that's what's happening with us basically. We've just decided we're going to stay friends. We're not splitting up. We're not divorcing. There's no bad feeling. She wants to go to Korea for a time. I'm dying to go back out to Thailand. And we've said to each other, she said to me, well, if I'm in Korea and, I've been there 6 months and I've had enough, I'll just come out to Thailand and move in with you. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I'll have an apartment. I'm going to get a work permit. I'm going to be doing some work with Simon. We're going to be, somebody put a seed in my brain last week. Simon and I are going to get together and we're going to come up with a package. We're going to offer a complete service for anybody who wants to come to Thailand. So if you want to come to Thailand and you want a retirement visa, we'll get it for you. Because if you want a retirement visa, you've got to jump. They're cheap, but you have to jump through hoops. You have to sit lots of days in immigration. You've got to fill in type forms. And some people, they don't want that. Like me, I've never seen the inside of an immigration office. I always paid my way. It's like, again, bringing up Ed Sweeney, he brought out a video last week where he went to immigration and he just went through hell. He described the immigration office as like a dole office in Toxteth in Liverpool. Well, why would you put yourself through that? I actually said to him, we spoke when I was in Bangkok, and I said to him, I said, look, I've just had an extension for 2 months. My passport was picked up at 7 p.m. from reception. It was 10 a.m. The hotel staff called me, come, Peter, your passport's here. I opened it up. I could stay there till March. Yes, I paid for it, but why would I want to put myself through that? And I did say to Ed at the time, look, don't waste your time. If you're in Pattaya, there's so many, shops, visa services and all this. And some people are paranoid and think, oh, they might not be real. But generally speaking, they are. That you can soon find out. You can talk to other foreigners there. You'll see other foreigners using the service. And it's not just about the money. You go to a place like Pattaya, who wants to sit in an immigration office all day? Then you have to leave your passport. Then they tell you to come back in 2 weeks' time. Then you got to fill out all this Thai paperwork. Yeah, it's cheap, but are you so hard up for money that you can't afford a few thousand baht? I mean, that's how I roll. I wouldn't do it any other way. But as I say, when I move out to Thailand, I'm going to keep this YouTube channel going. Simon's actually going to make his own YouTube channel, but mine will be more for the sort of entertainment side of things, the bars, massage girls, that sort of thing. He's going to be doing more, how to rent a house, how to rent an apartment, how to get a bank account, that sort of thing, the serious side of things. We'll work very closely together. But we're going to start a company. We're going to start offering guys services. One service, for instance, could be I've had guys write to me and say, look, if I came to Bangkok, I've never been before, I'm a bit nervous, would you mind showing me around? And I've always said, well, no, I'm not a tour guide, but we'll come up with, no, I don't know what's happened here. It says one person is watching. I looked 2 minutes ago, it said 480 were watching. Yeah, 486. Got a shock there. It said one person was in the stream. Don't know what happened there. So, I've had people say to me, look, if I came to Bangkok, I've never been before, I'd love to come, but I'm very nervous. I haven't been there. Would you show me around? And I've sort of thought, well, I'm not really a tourist. I don't want to sort of be holding somebody's hand, but yeah, why not? We could put a package together and say, we'll pick you up from the airport. I'll send Apple, the lady taxi driver, and I'll send Apple in the taxi, meet you at the airport, take you to your hotel, find you a hotel if you want us to, and maybe do a night where we take you out half the night to Nana Plaza, half the night to Cowboy. That could be one package. Another package could be, one night to Patpong, one night to Nana, one night. So there's all sorts of ideas. We can do visas. We know all the agents out there. We can get retirement visas. We can get extensions on visas. We can get driving licenses. We can get Thai driving licenses. There's nothing we can't do out there. We've both got a lot of contacts. We've both been out there. So we just got to come up with what we're actually going to put together. I'm also going to be doing some work with Trevor, Buzz in Pattaya. We're going to do some collaboration. I'm going to be doing some collaboration with Bangkok Pat as well when I get out there. So loads and loads of stuff I've got lined up. I've already got the ball rolling from this end because now I know that I'm going out there full time. I've already. I don't want to go too personal, but I've got the insurance. I know who I'm going to be insured with. I've already found an apartment block where I'm going to move into between Nana and Asok, and so I've got the ball rolling. I don't know what's going on here. It keeps saying there's one person in the stream, but now it says there's 485. Maybe it's dropping out. Anyway, let's move on. Enough about me. Right, Javier Lopez, you must feel very excited about your future retirement plan in Thailand. Plenty of good stuff to look forward to, Peter. Massive buzz to your Thailand channel. You have very interesting ideas. Do you know the best thing about it, Javier? When you first go out to Thailand, you're like a kid in a candy shop. I was 31 when I first went out there, and I won't lie. I got excited about the things that everybody else gets excited about out there. But when you've been out there for a lot of years, a lot of things wear off, and it's still good fun going out there. A lot of fun. It's a nice place to live. Like I said to you, sun on your back and all the rest of it. But you're not tempted by things you would have been tempted by years ago. I've seen a lot of guys come out to Bangkok who are very intelligent guys. They've got businesses in Australia or the UK, wherever, and they fall in love with Thailand. They think, right, I'm going to come out to Thailand. They bring money with them. They're going to open this, open that, do some kind of investment, make some business. And these are clever guys in their own country. They've done it and it works. So they thought, well, I'll go out to Thailand. It's a beautiful country and I'll do the same thing. And they're more than capable of doing it. But what happens is there's so many temptations, and a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them will end up not getting up in the mornings because they've been out in the bars all night, or they fall in love with girls they shouldn't be falling in love with. And it's such a distraction. But I'm now in a position where I'm focused. So when I go out to Thailand, them side issues, I can enjoy what Thailand's got to offer, but I'm not going to be put off by all the things that would put a newbie off. So that's a good thing. The only thing that concerns me is health. Like I said, I'm 62 in April. I think I'm fairly healthy, but you know, it does scare me to death to think I could be on the top floor of Mabu Kong. I could have a heart attack, but that's not going to stop me going to Thailand. But that's probably a concern, hence the quite expensive health insurance. Okay, so let's say hello to a few more people. Any questions you got about that, guys? Welcome. You can leave them now. I'll get back to you. Right, Crypto Chris Card. Pattaya looks reasonably busy in places that are open. Yeah, when I was there, it was busy. It's you can find female company down there, but it is a little bit of the popular saying at the moment is sausage festival. That's not my saying. That's what everybody else is saying. But if you are looking for female company, you will find it. Guys, I've got to tell you about this. I've got a guest on Sunday night. The video won't go out Sunday night, but I've been trying to do this for a long time. So, you know, I like to on this channel, if I'm in the UK, I like to try and concentrate on the human side, you know, the human stories. By the way, I've got 3 great stories tomorrow morning. I haven't done stories for a while. They're coming out tomorrow. They're there for the members now. They've been there since Monday, but they'll be released to everyone else tomorrow. Really good first story and some pictures of Pattaya from 1968. That's quite interesting. But you know, we always talk about these guys who get ripped off by bar girls, and you know, a few guys meet nice Thai girls who they get married, and there's so many different stories. But something I've been trying to do since I started, really, I've never been able to do it until now, is I've always wanted to find a Western woman, either an English, American, whatever, who's been out to Thailand, who's lived in Pattaya, in a red light town like Pattaya, who's been married and lost her husband to a bar girl. I've always wanted to interview somebody like that and say, how did you feel? How did your friends feel when you seen your husband looking in the open bars and go-go bars? Did you catch him out? Well, I've actually found a nice lady called Karen in America, Minnesota, is it she's from? And I've spoken to her already, and I'm going to interview her tomorrow. And that's what it's going to be. We're just going to talk. I'm just going to talk to her and ask her about her experiences in a town like Pattaya, because she's quite a good looking lady. So 10 years ago, she was telling me blonde hair. She didn't have any kids. She was quite hot looking, you know, and she really couldn't understand why her husband did this. But we're going to have a heart-to-heart, a real good interview, and hopefully you'll find that entertaining, guys. But hopefully I'll get that out the following week. Okay. Who else we got in here? Who have we missed out? Okay. Let's get down to some of the newer ones. Stuart Marston. I was only there 15 days. I got banged in hospital on New Year's Eve for 10 days. Won't take the risk again until the restrictions are completely lifted, unfortunately. I can't imagine, Stuart, 10 days in a hospital, because you can't even get a drink, can you? Like I say, you know what happened to me. I won't tread over old ground, but I was lucky that I was able to self-isolate in a hotel, but I was able to get, you know, Simon sent me over beers and pot noodles, and I was able to order stuff from Grab. So it wasn't, and I had Netflix, so it wasn't so bad as you had. But yeah, 10 days in a hospital room. Right, Chris Kringle, Centennial. I have helped positive PCR test. This test negative. Don't knock it. All right, we won't go down that one. Happy as Larry, good name. Hello, you recently mentioned how you quit smoking after being a smoker from a young age. Would love to know how you managed that. Any good tips? Did it take a long time to feel the benefits? Right, there's no tips there, Happy as Larry. I do like that name, actually. There's no tips. No, it's just you've got to look in the mirror one day and you've got to say to yourself, right, I'm 50. If I carry on smoking these cigarettes, as enjoyable as they are, like my favorite cigarette was first thing in the morning. Get out of bed, make a coffee, sit there. That first cigarette of the day, the rest of it didn't come close. That first cigarette, I could go and light one up now, right? We know what it's like. It's an addictive drug. But you've got to look in the mirror and you've got to say to yourself, right, either I give up smoking or I'm going to die young. And you will die young, believe me. I'm not trying to preach to you or be a reformed smoker, but they're killers. They are killers. It's medically proven. So you've got to decide if you want to live a long and healthy life or you want to smoke. You can't have both. And I looked in the mirror one day and I failed miserably many times, but eventually I cracked it. I stopped for 5 years once I started again. Several times I stopped for a year and I started again. And I'll tell you how I got caught out, because I stopped for 5 years and I thought, well, I've stopped now. And I smelled somebody's cigarette and it was a real nice summer's night. I was in the garden having a glass of wine, and I think my wife was smoking at the time. She's packed up now. And I just got that whiff of a cigarette. There was no air, no wind, it just kind of drifts. You know, when someone's holding a cigarette, it kind of drifts over, and it just caught my nose. And I thought, well, I've given up. I'll have one. And I thought I'd conquered it. I thought, right, I can have 1 or 2 cigarettes in the evening like this. It's enjoyable. I'm not going to be a hook smoker. That's it. And then I made a rule and said, right, I'll only smoke after dinner. I started making dinner at 3:30 in the afternoon. It just creeps up on you. You cannot do it. If you smoke and you want to give up, you have to stop. You can't have 5 cigarettes a day. You can't have 1 cigarette a day. You can't have half a cigarette a day. Once that nicotine enters your body, it's got you. It's like a fishing rod. You're on the end of the hook, and it will slowly, a bit faster. So if you want to give up, just tell yourself you're not going to smoke. The first 3 days are the worst. You actually think to yourself, it's not worth living. I don't care if I die young. Cigarettes are that important. But honestly, on day 4, it's still difficult, but it does get easier. But, you know, go for it. That's all I can say. Go for it. Right. Michael, good evening. How are you? Let's put that on screen. AGV Sport. That's Michael in Bangkok there. Day 1 and day 5 is so crazy. Only Thai government could come up with that scheme. Yeah, I'm in Pattaya now, and it's much less busy than when I was in November. They will have to change. Yeah, well, they're sort of saying that people are saying they don't think that will be too, they'll keep that too long, Michael. Michael sent me some very interesting pictures. I don't know if I'm going to put them out as a video because there's a few of them. But what it is, I don't know if you heard about this in the 70s. I didn't know nothing about this, but do you remember Nicky Lauda? Oh, I'll probably pronounce his name wrong. The racing driver who was in a terrible accident. He got burnt. They thought he was going to die. He had his last rites read out to him. He actually survived, and he went on to win another big race. Well, he started his own airline, Lauda Air. And one of his aircraft in the 70s, 1970, it actually it crashed over Thailand. It's Thailand's biggest air disaster to date. I think it was 283 people lost their lives. So what happened is this jet took off from the old Dong Muang airport. It was right in the north part of Thailand over a dense jungle national park. And one of the engines, you know, they have the thrust. So when they land, the wheels aren't enough to stop them, are they? They have to have a reverse thrust, and that slows them right down. They stop. Well, there was something wrong with the software, and they were 5 miles above the earth, and this left engine, the reverse thruster came on, and just the aeroplane went down. They tried to rescue it, but it broke up. Tail got ripped off it. Everybody got killed, and this plane, because it landed in the jungle you just couldn't get to it. You know, I mean, it was in the middle of this terrain that you couldn't get to it, basically. So even today, 30 years on, Michael's just been there on a motorbike because Michael's a big motorbike guy. He likes his motorbikes, and he went up there recently and sent me some pictures. But you know, parts of the aircraft are just laying around. 30 years on, you can still see the Lauda Air. I think it's a Swiss airline, red and white stripes. Was it Swiss? Something like that. I might have got that bit wrong. But apparently there's still, I've seen pictures of it. There's still parts of the aircraft laying around the jungle. I'd have found that a bit spooky, actually, but Michael went up there. But you're right there. I agree with that. 1 and 5, it's so crazy. Right, Steve's saying Santa Claus. I think you've had a bit too much to drink already, have you, Steve? 490 in now. How long have we been going? An hour already. Do you know what? I think I'm going to get a beer. Chris Kringle. Oh, Chris Kringle is Father Christmas. Okay, yeah. Nino, hi Peter. Did you actually use the Monchana app? I never did, and never saw any foreigner use it. Yeah, that's another thing. One of the Thai government people was saying they want to get all this. None of the systems were linked, and nothing were. So you know, when you got there, before you get there, so you've got to have a day 5 test. Well, you do, but nobody checks it. But you're supposed to register in this Monchana app, right? So I was in a hotel room. My first day, I thought, well, I better register on it, you know. Went on it, and you can do a code, you know, one of these barcodes. So I scanned it, error. I thought, Christ, here we go. Anyway, you're able to do it manually. So I filled in this big form on this app, enter, error, code 406 or whatever it was. Didn't work. I just never did it. And I don't know anybody who did it. Some people said, the Thai lady on the reception helped me and it went through okay. I tried. It didn't work. I didn't send my day 5 off to everyone. I tested positive. After 3 weeks, nobody rushed me off to the hospital. I self-isolated. So I don't know. It's kind of, the system seems to be a little bit broken. Right, Dutch Frank, Ed Sweeney from UK home, Jan from his condo, and Trevor from his condo is good. The NDT, okay. Right. The Third Man. Wasn't there a movie called The Third Man? Black and white. Or was that the man in the grey flannels? grey flannel suit. I like them old films, the old black and white ones. You have a great channel, Peter. Just got back from Gambia. Good, cheap holiday. Gambia, yeah, that's interesting. That would be interesting. I worked for a while in the Congo, Kinshasa, in Zaire. The only thing is it's French speaking. They've got the local dialect and French, and I don't speak French, so it was a little bit hard to. Okay, Nick, thanks for letting me know that. Not the same Nick, Nick Franco, not the same, because I always get confused with you and the other one. Yeah, Black Boat. Mr. Sweeney's flight to Cambodia was cancelled. Yeah, I did watch that vlog. He had 20 kilos of luggage. He was all ready to go, and they cancelled it. But he's just done his passport. He's got another month in Pattaya. Guys, it's time to get a beer. We've been going for an hour. If you've got something in the fridge, now's the time to get it. Let me put the card on, and I will be back. I'll go and water the daisies, and I'll get a beer, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Still 415. Good. Right, let's put these exchange rates up again. Yeah, talking about Ed. I mean, I like Ed. I've been on his channel as a guest, and Ed Sweeney's been on mine. And I remember when he came on mine, it wasn't planned. Like I said before, it was such a good stream. We were enjoying it, and people who were watching seemed to enjoy it. Believe it or not, it went on for nearly 5 hours. Unbelievable. So there's Ed Sweeney, there's me drinking and talking. I don't know what we were talking about in the end, but people seem to enjoy it, as I say. But I do like Ed, but he reminds me of the guy you meet down the pub who's had one too many. He's not out of control. He's a nice bloke, but he's had one too many, hasn't he? He's just one of those guys who reminds me. I hope he doesn't watch this and take offence, because it's not meant to be offensive. Right, let's get back into the chat, and we'll. I don't know if you're drinking anything tonight, guys, but I'm on the Kronenberg. Thanks to the guys who did the super chats and bought me the Kronenberg. Cheers. Oh, do you know what's really weird? I had do you know when I said last week I've decided to? No, I'm not going to retire to Thailand. I'm going to get a work permit because I'm going to do some work, but. I had people send me some funny messages. I had about 6 people in the week tried to put me off and said, "Oh no, you shouldn't go because, you drink too much." You remember I said, "Oh, I might have a drop of whiskey." I had a quarter of a bottle of whiskey last week. I said, "I might have a drop of this." And somebody wrote to me and said, "It really worries me at your age how much you drink. And, if you go out to Thailand, it's not like when you go out on holiday." And I had about half a dozen people write to me and try and put me off, and I thought that's a bit weird. Hi, Shamus. Don't mind the troll. It's commonplace around here. They're almost my friends now, the trolls. Right. Private Pablo. Trolls need to go back to Thai visa or whatever they call it. Yeah, Thai visa. When I first started this channel, I used to. I don't know if I'm going the right direction with the live streams, because what I used to do, I used to have the Ladyboy competition. I used to get all the new. I used to spend most of the day gathering information so that when I did the live stream, I'd read up lots of the latest news stories. I'd do the Ladyboy competition. I'd have other competitions, and it was really time consuming. The last couple of weeks I've just come on here and spoke like Ed does or like other people do, and it seems to have gone okay. But you'll have to let me know what you want me to do, because it's it's all right coming on here drinking a beer and just talking and talking about your Gary the Third Man 1949 movie with Orson Welles. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, you'll have to let me know, because it's I remember one week I was racking my brains. I thought, how can I make this live stream more interesting? I thought, I know, I'll get 12 pictures of bars in Pattaya. I'll cross the names out. and I'll show them, and people have to guess where them bars are, and I put them up. And one guy come on, he says, great, I've never even been to Thailand. This is going to be fun. So I haven't done it since then. Right. Right, Wes. Yeah, Wes is doing the Thailand bound diet. Now, you know the diet I did. I did the diet. A few people have tried it actually. So, Wes, Peter, still following your diet, 6 kgs in 5 weeks, including losing 2 in the last 2 weeks. Wes, well done, mate. Keep it up. It will come off you. I mean, like I say, I lost 23 kilos. I've actually put 4 back on since I was in Thailand, and I started again on Monday. But today I've kind of come off it again because it's a weekend, and I'm going to go hardcore again Monday. But what's really important was give yourself an off day once a week. That'll help you so much. But you've got to try double hard. If you take yours on a Sunday like I did, on the Monday, you've got to be doubly strong. Because when you have a bit of pizza on a Sunday, it's not the same as when you were dieting Wednesday, because it's so hard not to carry on eating. But, you know, I don't know how much you want to lose. You've lost 6 kilos. That's quite a lot. But don't forget, the first week you'll lose 2.5, 3 kilos just in liquids. It's a good achievement. But keep it going. I'll be interested to see how much you actually lose. And I'd like to know how much you actually want to lose, actually. You don't look that big in the photographs. Right. Nick Frankel. Yeah, I live in USA. Never met Peter in person. Yeah, Nick, I do remember you, because I always get you mixed up with the local Nick here. Same name. He's got a picture. And I you know, sometimes I call him you and you. But I do remember you, and I do know you, of course. Right. Les. Hello from Hawaii. Yeah, how you doing? Right, someone in Bradford there. Gerardo Trilobites. Yeah, okay. Centini 1x1. Chris Kringle. Okay, right. Joe Bowser. What's that? You do look like a handsome man. Oh, thanks. I'll tell you what's really weird. You know this software that I'm using where you can show all the like these comments and stuff. I look really grey in it. It makes me look really grey when I make the videos. I am a little bit grey, but I'm not. I don't look as grey as I do here. It's like I'm almost like a silver fox. But you know, do you know what I was going to say last week and I forgot, because somebody did a super chat and I always like mention the super chat and I forgot what I was going to say. You see a lot of guys, especially in Pattaya, they dye their hair and it's really like, I thought about doing it and I've done it when I was younger. But I think if I did it now, I'd go to somewhere professional. I'd get it done so it looks kind of natural. But you see these guys, they look like they've been picked up and dropped in a paint pot. I mean, it's so, you know, they're like 70 and it's like jet black hair. You know, it looks so false. I don't know why they can't see that. You know, I mean, you look in the mirror, you think it doesn't look right. Okay. Let me just say hi to a new member. I don't know if he's in tonight. He's in America, but he might see this tomorrow. So a big shout out goes out to a member, PA Comanche. I'll leave that there for a minute. Okay. Channel Traveller. Optical walker is much better than a treadmill, Peter. I've got one in my garage. I don't even know what an optical walker is. I used to have a treadmill in my garage, but you can't keep to it because it's so boring. I find it's actually better to go to a gym. I joined a gym here years ago, and I've always been a member of a gym in Thailand. And I've never gone and I'm just trying to get rid of this a minute. Hang on, bear with me. I've never there we go. I've never sort of pumped weights or done the row. I did do the row machine for a little while, but what I like to do, especially at my age, if I go to a gym, this is what I do. I go in, I get on a walking machine, headphones, and I just walk gently. Then I build it up until I do a real brisk walk. Then I'll do that for about 40 minutes and I will sweat. And then what I like to do then is go into like a steam bath. You know, it really opens your pores up. And then, you know, the best thing to do then, have a shave, because you really get a nice close shave. And then have a really fresh shower, a nice shower. And when you come out, you feel like $1 million. Really good. And you know, in Thailand, Thailand's quite hot, isn't it, to exercise outside? So there's lots and lots of gyms in Bangkok. Very good gyms. Okay, best sport to do for medium age is swimming. Perfect the body, very relaxed, no bone stress. Yeah, that is true, but it's just a hassle of well, it's not a hassle, but I just prefer to go on the treadmill. But you are right. Okay, let's explore Bangkok. Yeah, with the loud music, it's an odd story. Well, you know, if you've just come in, that was the guys who, you know, they were playing loud music at 4 o'clock in the morning. One of them got killed, English guy, and they were made out to be the victims. But actually, you know, the Thais just had enough of them. And it would happen here. You might not get killed, but if one of my neighbours sat outside here now at 4 o'clock in the morning and was blasting out music, I think a few of us around here would go out and have a word with them. We might not take a sickle and kill them, but we certainly might kick the radio that they're listening to or whatever they're listening to. Okay. Pazzy, my only problem with swimming is that if you don't have access to an indoor pool when things get cold, it's hard to keep it up. Yeah, I don't know where you live, but most, I mean, in the UK, I'm talking pre-pandemic, you know, every town has a council swimming pool. And if you're in a smaller village, it's a short drive. I mean, I can think of 3 within a 10-mile radius of me. There's one in the town here, there's one 6 miles away, and there's one 8 miles away. So they're not too hard to find, but I prefer a gym. Dave Andrew, we said hello to you tonight. I go Ko Chang all the time. I looked at cremation at the temple. I know not nice to talk about. I'm a Buddhist, but I was told 10,000 baht for blessing. That's £250. Is that expensive? I don't know. Right, what's it? Tom Yum guy. That guy had previous problems, mental issues. It's reported. Oh, is that the English guy? Yeah. Well, he hasn't got any problems now, has he? I haven't seen you for a while. Siam, I am. How you doing? Only heard about 70-year-old Brit who died during happy ending massage. A few of them. Yeah. Right. John Harper. My father had 2 stents in Pattaya, cost 9. Is that 9 million or 900,000? Stayed 3 days in Bangkok hospital. 900,000. How much is that? Jeez, 100,000 is £2,500. So times not. Yeah. Well, it's a major operation, isn't it? But as long as they did a good job on him, saved his life. But that's why it's so important. When you're young, I've never had insurance in Thailand. I've always had this cavalier attitude, like I won't get sick. But I was young, well, 30, 40. But now, you know, I've got my sensible head on. I'm 62 in April, and I just don't want to take the risk. Right, let's just see what else we're talking about here. So we've done the 5-day quarantine. The hotel got 30 hours to report that. Oh, you lost it, yeah. Oh, here's a funny one. So people are asking me about my experiences when I was in Thailand. Often, I met a lot of people when I was in Thailand. Let me just, I don't want to slurp with this. Right, I said to you last week, I had a lot of people come up to me and say, like, oh, you're Peter Thailand Bam. No one was nasty. No one was derogatory. Nobody took a poke at me. In fact, most guys were pretty good about it. And the place I got recognized the most was in Stumble Inn. I'd get up to 8 people a night come up to me in there. Sometimes I'd be sitting in Checkers having breakfast, and the breakfast just down nice and hot. I'm just about to eat it, and someone comes and shakes my hand. But I had this really weird guy in Pattaya. Let me tell you what happened. And it's like, this really happened. So I rented a motorbike, like a little Honda Click. I always do. And that's something else I want to talk about. I said to Wes, I'll bring that up. We'll do that next. I'll put it there so don't forget. So I don't mind meeting viewers. You know, if someone says, oh, why don't you come and have a coffee and stuff, if it's convenient, I'm near there, I'll do it. But I don't really want to go out of my way. If I've got plans, I'm not going to break my plans, right? But often people will stop me in the street and say, oh, you know, you're Peter, do you want to have a beer? And I'll say, well, I won't have a beer, but I'll have a soda with you. You don't have to buy it for me. And I'll stay with them, have a chat 15 minutes. And, you know, it's been nice to meet them. No problem. And when I was in Pattaya, obviously I was making videos. I said, right, I'm in Pattaya right now. I'll be here for a week, something like that. And just really quick, Stephen X, it said, I'll show it. YouTube's actually hidden it, but it's quite funny. Show. Yeah, but on the flip side, anyone can have a heart attack tomorrow. I would rather go out happy than pissed off in shitty England. How true, Stephen. Anyway, have I forgotten what we were talking about? No, I was talking about this guy. So I'm in Pattaya, I'm making videos. I'm here for a couple of weeks. I'm here for a week. And this guy kept hounding me, kept sending me messages saying, oh, I live in Pattaya. I'm in Soy Bakau. Let's meet up. I'll buy you lunch. I really want to meet you. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to meet him. I didn't know the guy, but I had plans. I was going to go to Jomtien. I'll tell you where I was. I went up to all the years I was in Pattaya. I never went up to that sign. You know, the big red sign that says Pattaya. Never went there. And I thought I was on the motorbike. It was about lunchtime, 1 o'clock. And I thought, I'll go up there and have a look. Couldn't find it, but I found it. I was up there filming. And this guy called me. He's messaging me again. He says, look, I'm in Tree Town now. Come and meet me. I'll buy you lunch, right? Well, I'm not so hard up that I'm going to go out of my way to get lunch bought for me. But if somebody says to you, if you meet me, I'll buy you lunch. What do you expect? You expect that they'll buy you lunch, right? They're not going to take you to the Ritz, but they'll buy you lunch. I and I can buy my own lunch, no problem. I didn't go there. I didn't agree to meet him because he said he'd buy me lunch. That was just, he said he'd buy me lunch. So anyway, kept sending me messages. Oh, come on, I want to meet you. I watched all your streams. I've been a member since day one, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, you know what, make the guy happy. I'll go and meet him. So I said, where are you now? I'm in Tree Town. He sends me a location. Right, I'll be there. Gets there, riding up and down, can't find the guy. Eventually I found him after about 20 minutes riding up and down this, because don't forget, Tree Town and Soy Bacau and all that wasn't there the last time I was in Pattaya years ago, but I did find him. And he said, oh, we'll go in here. And it looked like a real seedy kind of expat bar where, you know, I just didn't like this sort of feel. I said, no, we'll go in here. And it was a kind of little restaurant thing. Sat down. So I got talking to him, and he was telling me he lives there with a little Thai girl. And so he said, do you want to eat something? I thought, yeah, why not? I'll have a burger and chips. It's quite reasonable. A burger and chips and a coffee. I think it was about 180 baht, 160 baht. So at the end of it, we're saying our goodbyes now. He opens his wallet. And now if I said to someone, I'll buy you lunch, I'll take the bill. I'll pay the bill, right? That's what you would do. I'm sure you would. So if someone said, I'll buy you lunch, and you meet them, I'm the one buying you lunch. So the waitress brings it. Oh, I'll get this. You take the check, you pay it. Job done, right? Really weird. I was sitting with this guy who said he'd buy me lunch. Opened his wallet and he took 100 baht out, put it on the table, and he said, oh, that's towards your lunch. And I thought, that's weird. 100 baht towards my lunch now? So I said, do you know what, mate? I don't need it. You're all right. I'll just get my own. And I paid for my own lunch. But I thought, you know, some really weird people about, isn't there? Some strange people. Right, let's talk about the motorbikes now. So, Wes, I hope you're still in there. Yeah, I don't know. Dave Andrew, I don't know if that's aimed at me. That's been blocked by YouTube. But if you're still watching, I don't know if you aimed that at me or somebody else. But if you've aimed it at me, I love you too. Right, motorbikes. So I've always rented a motorbike in Thailand, always. And when I say a motorbike, I'm talking about a scooter like the Thais ride. You know, the Honda Clicks, Honda Vibes, step through. They've got no gears. In the UK, I used to ride big bikes. I've had Pan-Europeans. I had the Suzuki 1400, the Suzuki Yamaha 750, all sorts, big bikes, you know. Now I'm older and the weather's crappy here. I don't ride bikes. But when I go to Thailand, I always get one of those step through, no gears. They're 125. They do about 80 kilometers an hour. They're really convenient. They're light. You can chuck them through traffic. I've never had a problem. So I was watching Ed Sweeney's, one of his videos, and he was saying that he doesn't like going on motorbikes. And he was saying, now, I'm not contradicting what Ed said. I'm just telling you what he said. He said he doesn't take to motorbikes because in the UK he drives a car and he feels they're really dangerous and a lot of people get killed in Thailand on them. Now, he's not wrong in saying that, but I just want to give you my spin on that. And I'm sure you might agree with this, Wes, because you're a biker. And I know Michael's a biker as well. Michael, he'll probably disagree with me just for the heck of it. But anyway, so my take on it is, yeah, a lot of foreigners do get killed on motorbikes in Thailand. But what it is, they go to places like Phuket, which is really hilly and blind bends and all sorts. And they might have rode motorbikes in their own countries when they were 20 years of age. And they're now like 62, you know. Let me just refresh this again because it's saying I've got one viewer in here tonight. Probably my mum, is it? It's not. It's something going on here. Hang on. 468. Keep saying one, but anyway, yeah. So Ed was saying he doesn't like motorbikes. He thinks they're dangerous. Now, from my point of view, the way I think about it is, a lot of these guys, they go out to Thailand, and because you can rent a motorbike so freely, and I'm not talking about a little Honda Click, you can rent a Harley Davidson, you can rent a 1000cc bike. Now, these guys rode bikes when bikes weren't as fast as they are now. They rode bikes 30 years ago when the roads were quieter. They rode bikes when they were younger, right? So they get to Thailand. And there you go, a couple of $1,000 baht, or however much a big bike costs, Harley Davidson or a 1000cc bike, give us a photocopy of your license, away you go, happy days. This guy gets on the bike and he rides like a bat out of hell, goes down a hill, something pulls out and he gets killed. Or they take the bike out at night, they've got some little girl on the back, they're showing off, they've had half a bottle of whiskey and they crash and they pass away. So, the way I think about it is, if you're going to go out at night and ride a motorbike and drink, you're asking for it a little bit. If you're going to take a motorbike, a small bike, especially on the highway, then obviously that's more risk. But for me, I've never had an issue. And I'll tell you why. I like those little motorbikes. And I don't ride them down to Pattaya or up to Chiang-Mai. I use it to get from Soi 8 to Soi 4 or Soi 4 to Terminal 21. I stay very close to the inside. I presume every Soi I go past on the way, I presume somebody is going to pull out in front of me. So I go slow enough that if I'm not talking about a crawl, but I go slow enough that if someone did pull out, I can easily stop. Now, yeah, it's true a taxi could go into me at the back, couldn't it? But I'm not going that fast. So the only thing I'd say on that, if you got a ton and you have a bit of experience on a bike and you get yourself a little step through somewhere like Hua Hin, really, there's not that many taxis. As long as you're not, if you're a bit nervous, don't go on the highway, don't speed. Get something that doesn't have gears. Definitely wear a helmet. A lot of people think they can not wear helmets in Thailand. Wear a helmet and you should be fine. And they are a great way to get around. So again, I'm not contradicting what Ed said. That's just my own view on it. I don't know what you guys, if you'll agree with that or you disagree with that. Let's see what you're saying there. Welsh 32, they're working there, always rides in Pattaya. I'll tell you what's really interesting as well. A couple of years ago, when I was 2-3 years ago in Thailand, you know, the motorbike station. So you go at the end of Soi 4, there's a motorbike station, end of Soi 8, there's one. Everywhere there's these little motorbike stations. Well, when you got on a few years ago, they insisted you wore a helmet. Oh no, you've got to wear a helmet, please. They don't do it now. They don't even ask you. They don't even have a helmet to give you. So I don't know what's going on there. They wear a helmet, but they don't ask you. Before they were forcibly, I can't take you in the police, big problem, you know. But now they don't, you know. And I love jumping on the back of the bikes. You know, I went from Soi 4 to Terminal 21, 40 baht, 30 baht, something like that's £1. You know, I mean, fantastic value. But you do take your life in your hands a little bit when you go on the back of those guys because they are a bit mad, those blokes. Right. Right. The third man. Yeah. Some English people don't have no respect for the Thais. Well, it's not only English. The third man. You know, I'm not going to name nations, but I've seen some real dickheads out in Thailand who, you know, you go into a bar and you look at them and you think, Christ, why did he have to come in here? You know, it's actually embarrassing. It's really embarrassing sometimes. Let me just say hi to somebody who's very kindly given me a super chat. There's two. Siam, I am. Nice seeing Thailand bound exploring Thailand outside of Nana. Kanchanaburi visit was nice relief than you. Yeah, because I know you're not a bar person. I'll say hi to you in a minute, Danny. You're not a bar person. I know that because you've been around on the channel for a while now. And I know you like going to national parks and you like visiting. But do you know what? I've always been a bar person in the past. And, you know, I've been going since I was 31. But do you know what? I'm starting to get more. When I did this bridge on the River Kwai and I went to Chatham and I went to Huen, I started to feel like, you know what, this is actually a lot more fun than hanging around the bars. I do like the bars, but I'm actually at the age now I'm thinking, do you know what, I really like this being down here at the River Kwai. You know, we had breakfast overlooking the river and it was real nice. So, you know, maybe I'll change my ways. But thanks for the super chat anyway. Right, and we've got one more down here. I've missed a lot of comments. I'm going to come back on these guys. Wow. I have missed a lot. Where is it? There we are. Danny P, is it? Right, Danny. Hi, Pete. I love the videos. Thanks, Danny. Just to let you guys know, if you're coming a bit late, I'm starting where I left off tomorrow. 3 love stories tomorrow. They're pretty good ones this week. And then I'm interviewing that lady on Sunday, the American woman who her husband kind of ran off with a bar girl, started doing short times with her and all that. She's going to tell us her experience of that. And I hope she doesn't get too much flack in the comments. I did warn her. I said, look, Karen, you know, you might get guys who have divorced. They might start leaving some really nasty comments. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. You know, I kind of expect it. She's a nice woman. I spoke to her the other day, and originally she wanted to come on, but she didn't want people to see her face and stuff. And I said, look, Karen, you've done nothing wrong. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. So what if somebody sees you? And she was like, yeah, I suppose. You know, so she's just going to come on. I'm going to have a chat with her. And I think that'll be quite interesting, guys, because we'll get a woman's perspective on it. You know, a white woman, Western woman who's lived in Pattaya with her husband, lost her husband to a bar girl. And we can see, you know, we'll get her thoughts, and it should be interesting. Right, Dee, haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. Am I? Oh, yeah, I don't know about that, Dee. I could be a good man here, but a bit of a bad boy when I'm in Thailand. But thanks for that. I appreciate that. We don't get too many women in the channel. So nice to see you here again. You haven't been in for a few weeks, but there you go. Picture on the screen now. You can show some of that tomorrow. Okay, Wes, if you don't like a bike in your own country, don't ride one there. Yeah, I don't think it's that so much, Wes. I think what it is, like I said, a lot of guys, when they're younger, they had bikes, and then they kind of have families, and they never buy another bike, you know, unless they're, you know, you get the real bikers who have bikes all their lives, but you get guys who have bikes when they're younger, and then, you know, they get a girlfriend, they get married, they have kids, the bike has to go because it's an unnecessary expense. and then the bikes go out the window. 30 years go by. Suddenly, in Patty, divorced, finds himself a little girl called Knock, who he can take on the back and show off a little bit, and you know, drives like a bat out of hell and ends up killing himself. It's not a good situation. Right, Canary spreads his wings. Can you show me around Bangkok, Peter, even though I'm not a newbie? Well, I can do, definitely. We like I said to you, Simon and I, you know, Simon, I was trying to get him on as a guest today at 10 o'clock, but it would be like 5 o'clock on his. Somebody's writing in capitals. Ed Sweeney said on his channel the other day that you've done a stretch at Belmarsh for another troll. Let's just get rid of that twat. And just to show he is an idiot, he's right. Let's get rid of him because he's done a load now. I do get them on here, guys. I get, you know, idiots who leave these stupid remarks. Right, yeah. Now let me see if I can. I'll have to put another channel up to. Right, Canary spreads his wings. Yeah, I can do. And like I said earlier, Simon and I were going to come up with some packages where if you want to come and you need a retirement visa, we'll get it for you. You'll have to pay for it, but we'll get it for you. You want a driving license, we'll get you a driving license. You want us to book your hotel, we'll find your hotel. You want us to take you out into certain bars, places, locations, we'll do it. We'll meet you at the airport, but there'll be a fee structure. It'll be on our website. If you're an old hand and you don't want it, if you come and you think, I wouldn't mind going around with these guys, it won't be overly expensive. Bangkok Pat does a tour of the old city, like proper tourist tour kind of thing, for 4 hours. I think he charges 3,000 baht, so it's not the end of the world, but I'll let you know when we get something in place. I've got to get out there first, haven't I? Simon's planning all this at the moment. Okay, Welsh 32. I rented a big bike, small ones, but I often never find one before. Okay. Simon had a Ducati in Thailand for a while, and he said something to me which kind of struck home I'd never thought about. And that is, you know, when the thing with a little step through, when you know, you're often braking, you're weaving in and out of traffic, and they're very light and easy to do. When you're on a big bike, sometimes you can be going down a soy, and before you know it, you're doing 70 miles an hour because they're so powerful, and stopping is not quite as easy, and weaving in and out. So it depends what you want to do. Like Michael, for instance, he rode up to down to Pattaya and Hua Hin and up towards Chiang Mai on the highway. So obviously you don't really want to do that on a step through. Right, so we've still got this troll in, Mr. Capitals here. Let's try and get rid of him again. He's coming as a... I might have to get a moderator on here. I'm probably one of the few guys who doesn't have one. Right, we've blocked him. Right, he's gone now. Hopefully we won't see him again. Right. Have you noticed I don't get put off by them now? In the old days, I used to get, you know, when trolls came on, it used to put me off and I used to get all upset about it. But I'm so used to it now. How long have we been going now? 1 hour, 17 minutes. Right, Liam. So many old guys in Pattaya with their hair dyed, they wouldn't do it back home. Then again, no ladies would be calling them sexy man back home. So it's good for the ego. Get the blue rinse in Thailand. Yeah. Is he still here, this guy? How is he managing to do this? Because I've blocked him. Unless that's probably an old one, is it? And they're just coming up now. Block user. Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's just... Right, okay. He's enjoying himself tonight, this guy. Look, Ed Sweeney told us you've done a stretch in Belmarsh for procuring miners on the internet. Okay, good one, very clever. Oh, it's the same one, Mr. Copy and Paste. All right, okay. Danish Bacon, how you doing? We haven't seen you in tonight. You need a mod, Peter. I do and I don't, because you know what? This guy, he's shown himself up as an idiot, isn't he? Because we're all on here talking sensible. We're talking about Thailand. And, you know, I'm filling you in with what I know. And this guy's just been a total prick. You guys know he's a prick. And it doesn't kind of bother anybody. But as long as he's happy, that's the main thing. Right. What he's doing, he's registered himself as under many usernames. So when I block him, he'll just come up as another one. So I'll just keep blocking him for a minute and then we'll move on. Right. Or we can ignore him. Sorry about this, guys, but this is what happens when you're in a public forum. The guy's probably sitting in his mum's basement in somewhere. Ah, right, Franco, there you are. He's back with many names, Peter. Yeah, I might take you up on your offer, Franco, to moderate for me, because I mean it doesn't actually bother me, but it kind of puts people off the swing of the chat because we're talking about stuff, and you know, you get idiots like this come in and they write stuff like that. And you know, people know he's a bullshitter, but you know, it just kind of swings you out. Right, let's not waste our time on that idiot anymore, Franco. Right, good to see you out, mate. Franco's up on the screen. If you don't know Franco, Franco had a heart attack several days ago. I'm really, I wasn't sure whether to call you because I know you're in hospital. I asked Ollie to give my regards to you, but I'm glad they sorted it out. I'm glad you're at home now, and hopefully we'll meet up on Sunday. But I think you should stay away from the kebabs, to be honest with you. Right. Okay. Right. Steve. Hi, mate. Thinking about heading over August. Is it worth going for 4 or 5 days? And you think I said, no, it's not really worth going for 4 or 5 days, Steve, even if everything was okay. The problem is that, you know, all the hassle of like I don't know where you're coming from. I presume you're in the UK, right? But, you know, you've got a 2-hour drive to the airport, a few hours waiting at the airport, 12 hours on the flight. It's really tiring. And to go for 5 days, I used to, when I was younger, I'd do Sunday to Sunday. So I'd leave my house 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. I'd head to Heathrow. I'd have a week in Bangkok, and then Sunday night I'd leave at midnight, like Sunday night, Monday morning, and then I'd get back to the UK sort of Monday morning. But 5 days a bit much, it really is. So right, who else have we got in here tonight? The third man. Every popular YouTuber gets trolled, I know, but this guy's he's really enjoying himself. Look, let's okay. Do you know? I'm just going to ignore them now. I'm not going to even bother blocking him because he's just wasting my time. He's wasting your time. Right. Who else we got? Right, Dutch Frank. I don't see typos. All right. Danish Bacon. Yeah, you said that earlier. You need a mod. Who else we got in here? Right, JB, have you ever been pulled off by the police when you're on your bike? Not on my bike. Michael was telling me when he was ace, it was a bit annoying because he said he kept getting stopped. You'd be queuing up, and you know, if you're the foreigner, they're out from it. But this is one of the reasons why I want to get a Thai driving license, because if you get pulled by the police, I have been pulled by the police, but not on a bike. I'll tell you what that was about. When you're on a bike and you get pulled by the police, obviously, or any kind of buddy who's out to kind of scam money out of you, when they want to see your ID, if you pull out a Thailand driving license, it's in Thai, it's blue, and you know, they think twice because they know you're not a tourist, because in order for you to have a Thai driving license, you obviously know people, or you've gone to the trouble of getting one, and you're not going to do that if you're just here on holiday, are you? But when I was pulled over by the police, I got a taxi from I was at Patpong, and I took a taxi to Nana. Well, they come up they come up through Asok, but towards Sukhumvit. So I forget the name of the road, but you'll come up this road. There's kind of like a park on your left. You'll turn left onto Sukhumvit, and the police stopped the taxi and they searched me. And I think they were just searching for people who might be moving drugs around the city. But obviously, I wasn't doing anything like that, so I didn't have a problem. But it's a bit nerve-wracking when the police do stop you, and and they took me out the car and searched me. So anyway, where's Appleyard? Never went to Bangkok till after I met my wife 2 years ago in Legends Bar in Patpong. That was Rick. Rick had that Legends Patpong. Talking to the owner, yeah, so you know his name was Rick. He couldn't believe I'd never been to Nana Plaza. I said my wife is a protected species. A lot of people don't go to places like Siam I am. He's never been to Nana Plaza. In fact, Michael's never been there, and I took him there, and he didn't know what to make of it. And there's no go-go bars open, but Michael, I said, come on, I'm taking you out tonight, because him and his girlfriend took me out to, I forget, it was the big place with the Ferris wheel. I forget what it's called. And I said to Michael, I said, right, I'm going to take you out to Nana Plaza. There's only a few bars open, but he was kind of like, a lot of people don't like the bars. Right, naughty boy. I was pulled over on my bike a couple of times. Both times, nothing to see here. Just use your international driver's license, but make sure you have a motorcycle license on it. Yeah, but can they read it? It's just one line, isn't it? Stephen M. Just joined the chat from Hong Kong. Sorry if I missed earlier, but may I know what is your timing on relocation to Bangkok? Realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. I might visit before then if they drop all the rules, but realistically, I don't think it's going to happen before the summer holidays, as kids' summer holidays, like July, August, for the simple reason I've got a contract with the local council, and I am self-employed. I could walk away tomorrow, but they've been good to me, and I don't like letting people down. So I've told them I'll stick it out, because there's no new drivers coming in because they haven't been testing people, and I do a little bit of driving for the council. So when I'm getting everything wrapped up now, I've got my health insurance, apartments lined up, the building anyway, work permits on its way, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, in answer to your question, probably this summer. Right, Smiley McGee. Do you see any signs Thailand will drop the restrictions and quarantine BS anytime soon? Many countries and you, yeah, I think they will. I mean, it's just a guess on my behalf. It's a personal opinion, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, how long can they go on for? They're looking at what's happening in Europe, the UK, Vietnam, Philippines. I mean, they want tourists there. They've done this to try and protect people, but we're not going to put up with it, are we? I mean, I'm definitely would never go with a 5-day. You know, I've got to book a Shah hotel after 5 days. Never on this world. So they'll have to drop it, won't they? Because otherwise they'll have no tourists or very few. Right, let me just put that up. Thai Billy Boy. You're saying someone even appeared on Le Pub's channel yesterday. That's Kevin, Thailand. How disrespectful. You know what? You get them out there. He's been on this channel. He left a remark. He had a picture. Do you remember Kev? Hello, people. He had his picture like he was impersonating him. He's done it a couple of times on this channel. He left a comment and it just said, "I'm not dead." You know, like you say, very disrespectful. I had one 2 weeks ago. It said Ed Sweeney. I actually sent it to Ed Sweeney for a laugh. I said, "Look at this guy, Ed. Look what he's written." And he put something like, I can't remember what the comment was, but it wasn't Ed Sweeney. He called himself. So that's the thing about YouTube. You can call yourself Thailand Bound. You know, I could call myself Ed Sweeney, but you can't do anything about it. You just got to put up with it. But yeah, people are disrespectful. They don't care. But, you know, like I say, they're probably sitting in their mum's basement with nothing better to do. And they're probably, you know, we've all been to Thailand, haven't we? Although there's guys out there who haven't been, but they plan to go and they're learning from channels like this. And these guys probably, they realize they'll never get out there and they've probably just got a chip on their shoulder. Don't give them a second thought. Honestly, they're waste of space. Right, where's Apple? Yeah, definitely. I have an IDP. You get asked for it all the time now. Renewed mine at RACV in Melbourne yesterday, $45. Can't say fairer than that. This comes up every week. Where's Bangkok 112? Don't know. His videos are still up, but he's obviously. I think they pulled his advertising, to be fair, and he's not bothered now. Right, Dirty Harry, will you take a Thai language course? Yeah, I will do, definitely. When you're back over there, I'm thinking of doing that next time. Would be great to connect a little better with the locals. Right, let me give you a tip here. So I do speak quite a bit of Thai, but I won't give you any BS here. Most of my Thai is like a couple of words. So I can order all the food. I can tell taxi drivers where to go. I can count. I can do money. I can talk to reception at hotel. I can get by, but I can't sit down with someone and talk to them like I'm talking to you now. And when I was talking to Trevor, I said this last week, but maybe you weren't here last week. When I was talking to Trevor, when I was in Pattaya, he went on a language course and he said what they said to him was, learn to read it and write it first and you'll speak it much easier. And he was like, nah, I don't want that. I want to get straight into speaking it. And he said he lost a year and he went back and he started to read it and he learned. So there is a great course for about $100 online. It's called something like, he's a guy called Brett and his course is called Learn English with a Farang or Learn English with a White Guy. And as I said last week, the characters of the Thai language, he relates them to things. So that, you know, the one that looks like a U and it's got a kind of hook on it, he'll say that's a chicken or that's a bucket or something like that. And you relate the letters to certain things. And I did it for, I tried it and it did come across as, I wouldn't say easy, but it, yeah, in answer to your question, definitely, because I intend to go out to the provinces now. And one thing I've learned about Thailand, if you want to live in a Sukhumvit, in a Phalang bubble or Phalang ghetto like Sukhumvit or Silom, you'll be fine. But if you want to branch out a little bit, you've got translating apps, but it's not the same as being able to go up to somebody in a hotel and ask them whatever you want to ask them. Is there? So yeah, if I'm going to live out there, definitely. I've been lazy up till now. Right. Who else we got here? Right, Thomas Carr. I don't think I've said hello to you tonight, have I? Love my 750 Motor Guzzi. I'm 65, but getting Suzuki Hayabusa next month here in Czech Republic. Okay. I mean, motorbikes are a lot of fun, aren't they? But the thing is, I don't think it's so much that they're dangerous or the people who ride them are dangerous. I think it's just a case of it's so easy to come unstuck, isn't it? You know, it's like we've all seen the videos on YouTube where, you know, a guy's going down a country road doing 100 kilometers an hour. He's filming it on a GoPro and something pulls out of a farmer's field and you hear the guy say, no, no, no. And the camera goes blank and that's it. You know, right. Naughty boy. Laugh out loud. Nothing bothers good old Peter. You can block him by his email address. Well, you know, in this software that I use, it gives the ability to just put block user. But these guys are so, they're so, I'm just trying to think of the right word. They're so nothing that the highlight of their life is like if you block them, they'll come back with a new username and another username, and they just think they've achieved something, and it's really pathetic. I'm not just saying that as a cliche, but they are. Not some people leave negative comments. That's fine. They're not trolls. They just if somebody I've left negative comments, but it's how you leave them. And this guy, it's all capitals. It's like I've heard you're a nonce. I've heard you were chasing little boy. I mean, it's BS, isn't it? We know it's BS. But the trouble they go to do that, you think, well, what are you getting out of it? Because everyone knows you're BS. And yeah, like Black Bolt says, trolls are just that's it. They're just a little bit annoying. They don't get under anybody's skin, really, do they? Right. Okay. Right, Javier, you're on the screen. You said, Peter, you mentioned that you're a massive fan of history regarding World War II. I'm just wondering, have you ever been to Auschwitz in Poland? No, do you know, I've never been to Poland. There's two places I'd like to visit in Poland. One is Auschwitz, and one is this site of the Great Escape, you know, in the woods. They've got the tunnel, Harry, and I'd love to go and have a look at that, but I don't think I'll ever get to Poland. I went round Colditz Castle, you know, where they... you know, the film Colditz, so it was on every Sunday night in the 70s. I actually stood in the prisoners' courtyard and there was no one else there. I struggled to find any staff, actually. I wanted to go on a 20-euro tour, and I was in the castle walking around. You know, if you're in England and you're in a castle, it's all turnstiles and ropes, and pick up a leaflet and, you know, here's what we've got on today. And you've got guys in peak caps and glass windows to pay out. None of it. It's still like the Second World War. You go into a square, and it's all cobbled. You've got some rickety old stone steps through the German quarters where the German guards lived, up through another courtyard, through an archway, and you suddenly there and you think, well, you know, all the famous people who are here, Douglas Bader, the famous Spitfire pilot, you know, Todd, the head of the British, I'm not going to get the titles right, so I walked into the church, nobody there, I walked into some accommodations, up to the theatre, and eventually I found this woman over a paraffin heater on the second floor of the museum, and she's like, oh, are you here for the tour, the 20-euro tour? I said, yeah, I would like it if that's all right. She said, well, go and have a look at the museum. I'm just having a cup of tea here. And it was almost like you were visiting your old granny's house, you know, amazing. But yeah, but in answer to your question, yeah, I like anything like that, old airfields, museums. I've done all the sort of World War II airfields and museums and stuff. I don't know why, I just find it really interesting. Right. Oh, he's back. Look, we've got another one here. I am just ignore it. Don't waste time. Mention his post. All right. So you've turned a little bit now because I was prepared for you tonight, but that's kind of like it's all right. I'll forgive you for last week. I'll keep that there. We'll see what the next one's like. Okay. I did mention you earlier, and I was waiting for you so I could block you, but there you go. That's fine. All right. We'll call it quits. Right. Right, Tom Robinson, a sensible question actually from Tom. Belmarsh is a prison in London. Yeah, that's Belmarsh is actually, I think it's the highest security prison in the UK. That's where they put the real bad guys. I'm not talking about murderers. I'm talking about, I don't want to say the word, but you know, worst of the worst recent stuff that's been going on only over the last sort of 10 years. They end up in there. Susie Rotten Crutch, what's going on? All your MS G's deleted. Don't know. Not my night tonight, is it? Let's see what else we've got. Right, Thomas. Right, Mike Hunt. What are you saying, Peter? Where haven't you been in Thailand that you will go once you move out there? I've pretty much been to most places in Thailand, Mike. I haven't. I'm not an expert on them all. It's not like, you know, I'm Mr. Thailand. I can tell you every street and road there. But I mean, I've pretty much got around over the years. I mean, I spent time in Isan. I'm not talking about a couple of weeks. I was 2 years in Isan in a place called Khon Kaen. I've done all the resorts, you know, Hua Hin, Chatham, Phuket. I've been down to, spent years in Pattaya, obviously Bangkok all over. Where haven't I been to? Probably some of the real, I've been to Chiang-Mai, some of the provinces up there. Probably some of the real rural hill tribe places, them sort of places up north of Chiang Mai. And yeah, you can't cover absolutely everywhere, but there isn't many kind of destinations that I haven't been to. The ones I haven't been to, I'll probably go to. Right, Canary spread his wings. Right, so that's interesting. So you're going for the first time ever in 12 days. So if you enjoy it, which I'm sure you will, can you imagine what it's going to be like when there's no restrictions? You can't, because you'll go there and you think you've died and gone to heaven, and the next time you'll think you've been promoted in heaven. Right. Right, Mark N. Few kids on tonight, I see. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. I wouldn't, Mark, I wouldn't insult kids. You know what I mean? Let's leave it at that. Daz, hi Peter. Would it be better to go to Thailand just after you have recovered from COVID? Well, it doesn't. Well, I don't know. The only thing is they say it's like a cold, isn't it? So when you get a cold or a flu, you don't normally get it. Like, you know, if you get it and then the cold's gone, a week later you don't normally catch it, do you? It's like once a year or twice a year. So in that respect, maybe because maybe you've got less chance of catching it. But I'm not a medical person, so I'm not really qualified to answer it. But from a layman's point of view, if I had to guess, I'd say you're probably less chance of catching it because you've just got rid of it, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? Right, Wes. Never went to Bangkok till after I met my wife 2 years ago. Oh, we had that one already, didn't we? Yeah, it's easy to block them as well, Crypto Chris. But the thing is, when I see them, I might see a good comment. I'm not going to rush to block them and miss out somebody's comment, because I might say, because the comments move so fast, somebody might write something that I want to answer. And if somebody writes in capitals like, you know, you chase little boys or something stupid like that, then I'm not going to rush to block him because I'm shy somebody will see his comments. I'd rather read out the sensible ones. But you can do that easy here. Big Tinge. Hi, Peter. How do you get a Thai driving license? Is it automatic? It's quite difficult now. So if you've got a UK, it's actually more difficult if you've had one in Thailand already and it's expired, because I've been talking with somebody about this recently. Somebody had a Thai driving license and it ran out 2 years ago, and he tried to renew it and he failed on a blood pressure test. But you know, in Thailand, they're getting more and more strict. They're trying to become like Europe and America now. It's not kind of sabai anymore. You know, take it easy, nothing matters. They are getting quite strict. And I'll give you an example. Okay, so I got to be careful. I say you might have to read between the lines. So to get a Thai driving license, normally the right way to do it would be you apply for the paperwork. You'd go down to a test center. You'd go out and you'd do a test. You'd watch a video about cars. They'd ask you what color this was, what color that was. Read a registration. That's a proper way to do it. And then some people were paying a fee and they were getting them. So then the government thought, right, okay, well, we don't want this. So what you have to do now is you go down to the test center and you have to do a finger scan, you know, fingerprint, electronic scan. And then you're supposed to go out on a test. And then when you've done that test, you come back again, you do another fingerprint scan. That way they know you've been out and done a test. You haven't just come in, scanned and then gone. But what I've heard is happening is that people come and they do the fingerprint scan, go and read a newspaper for 2 hours, do another one, and then they get their license. So it depends who you know, what you know. And I've got to be careful what I say on here, but it's not a case if you get there, you pay money, you get a license. It isn't like that anymore. Not at all. But there is easier ways to do it than kind of the regular way, if that makes sense. But I'll put that up there. I won't read it. I'll just leave it there for a while. Soy Devil says you need a moderator. I don't know. I don't really need one. They don't, you know, the guys who come in here and troll, they don't, honestly, I know you think I'm just saying this, but they don't really bother me. It's like, because it's so obvious what they're saying is so stupid. If they came on and said something like, no, I'm not going to give any examples, but anyway, right. International driving license, £5 in the UK. Yeah, but the Thai, I got one last time. They're not interested in the Thai police. I'm not interested in international driving license, because when you go out there, if the police stop you and you take out your international license, they don't want to see it. They want to see your English license, and that will satisfy them. Because somebody told me to get an international license, and I went to the post office. It's so like old fashioned. You go and you get this grey card book. It looks like from the Second World War. And she handwrites it, she stamps it, and it's in Russian and Chinese, not Thai. Mine wasn't anyway. And then when I got there, somebody said to me, they said, well, that's a waste of time, because the Thais, they're not interested. You show them that, they don't want to know. They want to see the one with the British flag on it, you know, the real plastic one. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get one. It was £5 or £6, but, you know, not the end of the day. Naughty boy. I was pulled over on a bike a couple of times, both times nothing to see here. Just use your international driver's license. Exactly what I just said, but make sure you have a motorcycle license on it. Yeah, well, I think I read that out before. Let me go down to some of the newer comments. I think I've missed a load here. Yeah, I'm still on some of the older ones here. Okay, right, Michael, have lost significant weight several times, but gain weight back, so be extra strong going forward, and good luck. Yeah, I've done the same as you, Michael, because what tends to happen, you go hard, and when you're off your diet, you think, well, I'll eat sensibly, but slowly, you get into your own ways. And I think I haven't kind of mastered it yet, but I think it's called, people will say you're on the yo-yo diet because you lose it and then you suddenly go, and that's what happened to me. I lost 23 kilos. I went out to Thailand for 5 weeks. I was out there and I come back and I was 4 kilos heavier. I think I've lost half a kilo now, but I'm going to go strong from Monday again. And yeah, you know, you've got to really watch it. It's so easy to put it back on. Okay, Daz. Hi Peter. Would it be better to go? Okay, you read that. Let me go down to some of the new ones. Right. What's it? Right, Naughty Boy Peter. I was blocked on the pub channel from a negative comment, or I didn't agree on something, so I just don't do his channel now. I think one of his mods was oversensitive. That you know what? It's good that you said that, because that's one of the things I didn't want to say, because I didn't want to insult anybody. But that's one of the reasons I haven't had any moderators up till now, because I do believe in free speech, and if you want to say something to criticize me, that's fine, as long as you do it in the right way. But you know, some moderators, they can get overzealous. So if somebody says something like, let's give an example. So say you've got 200 videos. Say if someone said, you know what, I like your channel, I've been a member for a long time, 199 videos I really like, but that last one you put up, it looked rushed and I didn't like it so much. For me, I would take that on board and say, oh, all right, then okay, let me have a look at it and I'll see. But a moderator who's overzealous, I think that's negative, we'll ban him. And that's why I haven't wanted to do it. And I've got to put my hand up. I was a little bit guilty in the early days, like, you know, that not so much here, but the comments. If someone wrote a comment that I didn't like, I'd just delete it. And then somebody said to me one day, they said, well, you can't, if you've got a channel, you can't just have all positive comments. And I thought, you know what, you're right. You know, so as long as people respect, so if someone comes on here and says, do you know what, Peter, you're just a fat wanker, you're a waste of time, then I'll delete it because it doesn't mean anything, right? But if somebody comes on and says, Peter, you look like you put on a lot of weight, mate, I don't want you to have a heart attack, I suggest you go to the gym, I'll leave it up there, but I might ignore him or I might listen to him. So there's nothing wrong in criticizing people if you do it in the right way, but not like that idiot who's just been on a while ago. But yeah, I can relate to what you're saying there, because I would imagine some of them are. And talk of the devil. Okay, I thought you were the same guy there. You're not. How hard is it to find a pretty Thai girl to date? Well, that's $1 million question, isn't it? I think, to be honest with you, I think if you speak the language, I think you're a lot better chance. I mean, I had to laugh. I hope this guy's not watching now, but you know, for years and years and years, the biggest thing I've heard from guys, they'll meet a girl in Pattaya, and you'll say, oh yeah, and they'll show you the photographs and all that, and you know she's working in Pattaya, she's a bar girl, you know, she's at it, right? And they always say the same thing. No, this one's different. She's, you know, and I met this guy in the airport, and he said, oh, I met this girl. And he showed me a picture of her. She was wearing like latex, skin tight, boobs up here, backside squeezed into the. I mean, she looked like she'd just come off the front cover of some exotic magazine, you know. I looked at her and I said to her, which bar does she work in? And he said, no, she's a good girl. You know, she's got her own salon. And I looked at how she's dressed and I thought, yeah, all right, mate. Right. Right, okay. Mark P, it's Brett, learn Thai from a white guy. Okay, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Naughty Boy, very, very easy shopping centres are best bet, and just be polite. Yeah, you say that, and I don't want to disagree with you, but the thing is, especially in a place like Pattaya, do you remember that story I told you about Thomas, my friend? It was one of my earliest stories. He met a girl in Mike's shopping mall. I won't tell you the whole story, but he met a girl in Mike's shopping mall, and she was selling shoes. And he thought, well, she must be a nice girl because she's working in a shopping mall and she's selling shoes. She wouldn't do that if she was, you know, selling herself. But what she used to do, because she didn't come from Pattaya, she had the job. She went down there to work, but she wasn't making the income that she really needed to make. So what she used to do, she used to go out and work a little, let me say in a clean way. So her main job was selling shoes, but she would also entertain guys, if you know what I mean. And he met this girl, and he just assumed she was 100% okay, and she was a nice girl apparently, but she was at it, you know. And you can't assume because they're in a supermarket, especially in a place like Pattaya. I mean, if you look at, it's really difficult for me because if I start saying things like, oh, not in Pattaya, people will come at me and say, oh, you're being derogatory, like every girl in Pattaya is a, you know. Let's put it another way. You just stand a much lesser chance of finding a nice girl in a place like Pattaya as you would in a place, say, like Khon Kaen or Buriram or Bangkok. But no, there's no guarantees. But I'm not plugging this video, but I have got a very old video on here that says 20 points that'll help you decide if your new girlfriend has ever worked in the entertainment industry or was a bar girl. And if you watch that video, there's 20 points that I come out with, and you can tick them. And if there's yes to more than half a dozen of them, then you might be thinking it might be time for a change. Right, Tuga in Vietnam. That's a good photograph there with a nice lady on the back. Hi, Peter. Love your content. Why have you chosen Thailand among many interesting countries in Southeast Asia? Any plan to visit other countries? It's a good question. No, and I'll tell you why, because I've already done it. I'm 62. I used to work in the hotel industry. I've been to the Philippines a number of times. I've been to Cambodia several times. I've been to South Korea, Hong Kong, worked in Singapore for a while. For me, there's nothing wrong with those other countries. I'm not going to criticize them, but why Thailand? Because it pushes my buttons. It does it for me. It might not for somebody else. The worst thing for some people visiting Thailand is the language barrier. That isn't really a problem for me at the moment. I'd like to speak more, but it's just everything about it suits me. Like, the infrastructure is great, the people are friendly, the food's great, the entertainment's good. It's very difficult to come unstuck in Thailand unless you act like an idiot. And the Philippines. Yeah, the Philippines is nice, but it's a lot of pollution. The infrastructure is not as good. Cambodia, it was okay, but it wasn't Thailand, if that makes sense. Singapore, beautiful, beautiful garden city, strict. It's like Paris of the Far East. I don't want to go somewhere like that. I'm not criticizing Singapore, but it was too all right for me. Hong Kong, expensive, wasn't my sort of place again. So yeah, in answer to your question, Tuga in Vietnam, in answer to your question, it's just me. I just like Thailand. I always have. Okay, this is a weird one. Roger, Alcatraz has commentaries from past prisoners and guards. I have seen a couple of documentaries on that where there's guards and I don't know what it's got to do with Thailand, but anyway, yeah, good comment. Right. Make Tom say, is it? Hi, Peter. Are we ever going to make it to Bangkok to Thailand? Yeah, I just come back 2 weeks ago. You will. It's going on too long now, isn't it? It's 2.5 years. It can't go on much longer. We'd like to think so anyway. So look, I'll just put that up there. Dickie, problem with these MOVID rules, countries use it, that they change them suddenly. I told you last week when I was in Thailand, they were changing rules by the hour, let alone the day. In the morning, this would be a rule, and by the afternoon, that was out the window, and something else was in. Nick Franco, I'd be interested to visit central Thailand, north of Bangkok. You don't see much of it like you do the far north, south, and east. I've been to that sort of area. You're talking about 100 miles above Bangkok. It's there's nothing spectacular up there. It's not bad. It's just another city. Nothing to write home about. Just say hi to somebody I haven't seen there before. 34 Enduro Zion. Yeah, hi to you. I've not seen you in the stream, but welcome. We are nearly up to 2 hours now. Okay. Right. I don't know whether to take this a compliment or an insult. JB, if you were on Mastermind, would your chosen subject be Connect 4? Possibly. Okay. Ghost Traveler. Do you prefer Nana or Soy Cowboy? That's a really difficult one, is it? I'd say like this. I mean, I prefer Soy Cowboy earlier in the evening because I like the Tilak bar. That's the aircon's good. You don't get hassled. It's quite a nice environment inside. So I quite like to go there early, and they have draft beer on tap. It's icy cold pint, 90 baht in Happy Hour. So I like to start off there. And then Nana, I think, a lot of the bars in Soy Cowboy, they're kind of has-beens. They're a kind of throwback to what they used to be. Places like Longon, when I got there sort of 25, 30 years ago, Longon was like one of probably the top go-go bar in Bangkok. It hasn't changed much, hasn't really gone under much renovation, and it's a kind of throwback to yesteryear. But it's hard to say. I definitely don't like Pat Pong. Pat Pong's, it just does nothing for me. But don't forget my age now. I'm kind of growing out of this sort of stuff. I found myself this trip. I was enjoying hanging out in kind of other kind of outside bars playing pool. Soy, I'll tell you where's good noise now. Soy 7/1. So where Soy 8 is. You come out of Soy 4, you walk up, you get to the SkyTrain escalator there, and Soy 8's there. Go over, drop down on the other side, and just walk a little bit up that way. You got Soy 7/1, where the German beer garden is. before you get to the German beer garden, there's now a whole new complex of bars that were in Soy 22. It's all neon, loud music, lots of girls in there, and it's a totally new complex. That'll be interesting for you to visit if you've never been there. I'm a bit long and a bit loud for me, them sort of places now. But there's other places to visit. Right, Wes, you say Mike Hunt, Vietnam, we plan to go in 2012. Do you know, I would like to go to Vietnam because I've heard I haven't been to Vietnam. That's one of the few places I haven't been to. And I've heard that the food in Vietnam, they do a lot of vegetarian food. I'm not a vegetarian, but I've heard the food is in Thailand, it's just spiced up, isn't it? I like spicy food, but apparently in Vietnam, it's more kind of more fragrant and not so spicy. And it's kind of different. They do a lot of vegetarian food. And I'd like to try that. When I go abroad, the food is a big part of my enjoyment. I really like going out for nice food. I'm not talking about steak and chips. I'm talking about, some real nice Thai food in a nice Thai restaurant. I really enjoy a good meal these days. A lot of people are saying the same as you, the third man. Unfortunately, I will not return to Thailand until all restrictions are gone. I don't know about all restrictions. You'll probably have to wait a number of years till all restrictions are gone, but definitely things like the 5-day Shah Hotel. I don't think many people will want to go for that. Thomas Wright, hi Peter. Have you ever been to RAF Scampton, home of the Dam Busters? I have been up there, yeah. I'm such a saddo. What I used to do with a friend years ago, I live in Northamptonshire now, but we used to, Saturday morning, we'd jump in the car 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd just drive up to Lincolnshire, get an old map. We'd find old World War II Lancaster bases, bases where they had the mosquitoes, all that sort of thing. And we'd just go into them and just see what we could find. And that was our hobby, a bit sad, I know, but, got to do something with your time, haven't you? Taxi Talau, I'm planning to visit Tak and, how do you say it? Pinsalok, is it? Seen 22 provinces so far. Obviously, Laos, number one for me. All right. I've not been to Laos either. That's another place I haven't been to. I'm trying to get as many of these in as I can before I go. Danish Bacon, Peter, what is your favourite beach and island in Thailand? Well, I haven't been to all of them, have I? So there's probably a lot. I should have gone to a lot more islands. But the place I like at the moment is, I like Chatham, because it's quite a peaceful town. It's a lovely beach, nice stretch of, roadway in front of the beach. It's pretty good. It's not the most beautiful beach in Thailand, but I like Chatham. I don't particularly like to go to a place that's got nothing but a few bamboo shacks. I find that a little bit too boring. But then if you took a girlfriend or a wife, I suppose that would appeal. Okay, Canary, I haven't seen you in here tonight. Canary, good night, Peter. I am sad you didn't say hello. Right, I did say hello to you earlier. You must have missed it because I was talking about one of your comments. But hello to you. All right. So thanks for, and hopefully see you next Friday, 9 o'clock. Yeah, a lot of people saying the same thing now about not going back to Thailand until the restrictions are lifted. It was really weird when I was there. I'm sure you've heard this from a lot of other people, but it was really weird. There's no Chinese groups. There's no Indian groups. There's no Russian groups. Very quiet. It's not dead, but it's different. It's very different, John Smith, a friend of mine, hired a car on a provisional license in Bangkok. They asked him what the L meant on his license. He said lorry, no drama. Yeah, you know what? I believe that because I'll tell you a true story. And if you don't believe this, I don't blame you, but this is a true story. Years ago, there were 4 mainland Chinese guys that wanted to rent a car in Thailand. And this is when the rules were a bit more lax. And they went to rent a car in one of the provinces. I can't remember what it was, but a true story. They went into this car rental place and they had to show a license. So they had this bit of paper and it said in English, license. That's the only English word on it. It said license. And the rest of it was written in Chinese. And the Thai guy who read it, or the little girl, they said, yeah, we got a license, broken English. There it is, license in English, right? So, okay, gave him the car. Anyway, about an hour and a half later, they get the call from the police, the rental place. These 4 guys have totaled the car. Totally, it's gone. And to cut a long story short, what they actually produced was a license to fish in waters off a certain part of China within a mile of the beach. So you had to have a special fishing license to be able to fish that. And that's what this license was. But it just happened to say in English, license. So, yeah, unfortunately, the car got totaled. And that is a true story. Right. Wes, you're leaving a lot of comments tonight. When my wife got her PR here in Melbourne, she had 6 months to convert her license to Victorian one, written test, hazard perception test, and driving test. I don't know if I should tell you this. My wife might watch this later, but I'll let you know anyway. My wife, when she took her test, never driven before, and she drives an automatic, right? She passed on her 10th time. She took 10, and I reckon she squeezed 1 or 2 in between because she didn't work then. I was paying for the lessons, I was paying for the test, and when she got up to lesson test number 7 and she came home and she said, "Oh, I failed on this," I'd hit the roof. I said, "Oh my god, more money going out," because it's not cheap. And on a 10th time she passed, but I think she got a couple more in, and didn't tell me about it because I kept hitting the roof. She got there in the end, didn't she? My daily upload. I visited the IWM Duxford Museum a few years ago. It's very nice, worth a visit. Duxford's one of my favourite places. I've been there more than 20 times. It's brilliant, especially on the air display days. But it's getting very expensive now to get a ticket to go in. I think the last time I paid like £27 to go in for the air show. Okay, let's get a few more comments in before we go. Javier, yeah, very much so. My sort of movie. Did you enjoy the movie Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks? I think it is a truly great movie. Yeah, but do you know what's better than that is they do porno versions of all the famous movies. They got one in America. It's called Shaving Private Ryan. Very clever. But probably the Tom Hanks one. I'm looking forward. Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. They're in the UK now filming. They're bringing out a series, an American series, and it's based on the guys who flew the 5 miles up in the Flying Fortresses. It's a series. It's going to be called Masters of the Skies, and it's based on the 8th Air Force here in the UK during the Second World War. You're talking right up my alley now. This is my subject. I made the video on RAF Grafton Underwood that's on the channel, and then Spielberg and Tom Hanks are the directors, and they've built a set near, I think it's near Oxford, in Oxfordshire, millions of pounds to make it look like a Second World War kind of American air base, and that's going to be a kind of weekly or monthly show, Masters of the Air, and I'm really looking forward to that because that, the fact that Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks is doing it, it's not going to be second rate, is it? I watched a couple of war movies which were absolute crap. One of them was called Lancaster Skies, and one of them was called Fortress. And in the old days when they made movies about the war, you've seen real aeroplanes, but it was all digital aeroplanes. It was absolutely crap. 15 minutes into it, turned off, especially Lancaster Skies. Absolute waste of time. I hated it. Right, 34 Enduro Zeom. I hope I'm saying that right. Hi, Peter. Will you be flying to Phuket in March? Do you have any advice for me? No, I won't be flying to Phuket just for the simple reason, the logistics. When I live there, for sure, I'll take a trip down there. But the only advice I'd say to you is take lots of money because Phuket's quite expensive. All right. Right, Tom Young guy, it's hard when you find one there. All right. Okay, taxi to loud. I miss driving at night on those mountain roads around loud, window down, music on, sense of freedom. Okay. Thomas Carl, lately like to fall asleep while listening to podcasts, often listening to your true stories from time. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. So you put on my love stories and you fall asleep. Is that an insult or a... No, you're not the first to say that, actually. I'm not offended by that. Haven't seen you for a while. Lost in Australia. Good to have you in here tonight. Freelancer. Okay. Naughty boy. Upcountry is your best bet. My ex is from Rio. The only thing is, if you're a newbie out to Thailand, you're looking for a Thai girlfriend, a lot of people swear by dating apps, but I'm not convinced by dating apps because there's a lot of professional people on dating apps, if you get my drift. Upcountry, yeah, you would stand a very good chance, but what you've got to remember, it's a language barrier. So if you're upcountry and you're in somewhere like Buriram, Khon Kaen, I would say maybe if you went into a 7-Eleven in a place like Khon Kaen, which isn't around an entertainment area, and, in 7-Eleven they tend to speak a bit of English, places like that, you might be in with a bit of luck there, but you really need to be careful. It's a throw of the dice, isn't it? You're just sort of lessening your odds. But yeah, it really good if you could lead, if you're you can learn the language a little bit. Some of these names, they make me smile. Look at that username. I won't read that out, but yeah, right. Okay. Okay, I think this is what you meant to say earlier. Lost it. Pate has its fair share on freelancers in the last week of the month, just before the rents are due. Yeah, but a lot of them have actually got regular jobs, or they do regular stuff, and they kind of do it part time. It being the ultimate word. Someone says he's got to apologise here. What is that? Naughty boy. Okay, I apologise. I must go. Thanks for having me, Peter. Everyone enjoyed the weekend. I'm currently at work. Yeah, a lot of guys are going to clear off and go to bed soon. Some people are working. If you're watching porn channels, right? Okay, I'll show that. I don't know why YouTube have blocked that. Let me see if I can find that. Because YouTube automatically blocks some stuff. Something about if you're watching porn channels. Can I do it over here? Yeah, there we are. Right, Darcy said, if you're watching porn channels in a Thai hotel, mate, I would be very worried for you. Yeah, I think yeah. No, I don't watch porn channels in hotels in Thailand. That's you're referring to the Shaving Private Ryan. No, I don't, but I know where you're coming from. Exactly, yeah. Netflix sometimes, but not porn. Okay, guys, I think we're there. Another 2 hours. It's really weird, I come on here and I used to prepare a lot of stuff. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'd do some funny TV clips. I'd do some adverts, Ladyboy competition, and I've been a bit lazy the last couple of weeks because it's I'm really tired at the moment. I think it's because of my trip to Thailand, and I think what should I do tonight? And I think what, I'll just come on and talk to people and see how it goes. And if it doesn't go well, I'll pack it up after an hour or so. And it always seems to go quite well. You guys are always kind of putting a lot of good input here. There's lots of comments coming in about Second World War stuff now. I haven't got time to read them all out. I'll probably read them after the stream or first thing in the morning. The comments on here, they do rerun after 24 hours. So thanks for putting up with me for another 2 hours, guys. It's been a blast as always. I really hope you have a good weekend. I know that sounds corny, but I really do. And as I say, tomorrow there's 3 good stories coming out. They're up there now. I'll release them tomorrow morning after I drop my daughter off. And then Sunday night, I'm interviewing that American woman whose husband ran off with a bar girl. Hopefully that'll be out next week. And then obviously the live stream next Friday at 9 o'clock. So guys, have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining me tonight. And I look forward to you guys being here next week.
Wow.